Okay, gang, we got a special episode for you today. It's me, Silk, the editor and producer here. If you don't know what's going on, I'm just filling in for Chris during these intros. He's got a new baby boy. He's taking some family time. He's still hosting this episode. I'm just here for the first minute. So I'm here to say thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate all of you so much. This community that we're building here is so special, and we appreciate all of you so much. I also want to thank all the sponsors of today's episode. We've got Bubs Naturals, Gozney, Autum Headwear, CAPiTA Snowboards, Union Binding Company, Herschel, Yeti, Pub Beer, Mammoth, and Kodiak Cakes. Thank you all for your support. All right, let's get into today's guest. We got Jill Perkins in studio, back for round 2. If you don't know, she's already been on the show once before. And if you're living under a rock and you don't know who Jill is, that's what that episode is for. This is like, I know Jill. Jill's my homie. What's new with Jill? That's what we're here to do today. It's just a breakdown of everything that's happened since the last interview. We're talking about some of her latest video parts in the ride video rated R, search party, Videograss, the return of Videograss. We break down some of her favorite clips from these parts. And year after year, Jill is just dropping some of the most insane street footage. She's an incredibly kind person. She's an inspiration to many. And we're just so excited and very thankful to have Jill on to drop some facts in today's episode. So let's get into it. The Jill Perkins Interview 2.0.
You are listening to the
Hey, MFM. See you on the lift. Back attack, dude.
Bon voyage!
Hey, yo, homies, good.
Slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
All right, welcome to the Bomb Hole, which is presented by Run Through a Wall Smelling Salts. Now, today we have the GM, the general manager of the Bomb Hole, Jules Spadero, co-hosting. What's happening, Jules?
I'm just still reeling from the excitement of Jill Perkins famously winning the pumpkin painting contest at my house last night with her
Love
painting of Edna Mode, which we need to pull up on the screen.
Yeah, put
There
that
is a
thing on.
picture on the screen.
It's incredible.
Love that. Silk, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I just pulled up a picture of Jill's pumpkin.
Perfect. And Jill, what's happening?
I'm confused. I thought this was Call Her Daddy, but turns out it's a snowboard podcast.
It is, yes.
You and Kamala would be great, though, on Call Her Daddy.
Oh, I'd be so scared to talk to the vice president. Whew.
So let's talk about this pumpkin. You guys painted some pumpkins last night?
Yes, every year we get together and we decide to do festive activities. We painted some pumpkins.
It's really wholesome. We have, it's fall week, so we go to Frightmares every year on the weekend, get super drunk, and then go to the bar. We start the week off with a pumpkin painting sort of ritual, and then a witch movie.
Yep.
And Jill won, and people don't talk about it enough.
The pumpkin win? Painting win?
Yeah, she's a really good artist.
I didn't know we were competing, but, deep down, everyone in that room was competing.
We didn't even talk. We just
Yeah, no one
How
talked.
did Jules' painting stack up out of curiosity?
Jules was really good. It actually got Ender of the edit.
Oh, okay.
So
I think
I think it was her idea to finish last so she could be like, look at my pumpkin. It was
No.
strategy.
it was Jill, Emily, me. We'll pull them all up.
It seems biased, but I love it.
Actually, kind of reminds me of when you talk about Frightmares, how I got gaslighted into driving you guys to Lagoon last year in the limo when you told me you were going to basically North Salt Lake.
Okay, but remember I did come to your window and I was like, hey, Chris, I understand you got bamboozled here. Wasn't a part of it, but you can back out at any moment. But then you were so kind and rallied us in the limo and we had a great time. It was probably borderline inappropriate, but
You are going to want to clear your schedule for Friday because we're doing it again.
and the staff is doubled, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
We need the limo.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some snowboard stuff here, Jill. Cult classic, instant classic, saw it for the first time. Search Party from Videograss. You had a part in it. It was great. How was the premiere?
The premiere was awesome. It was Encinitas, California, and I'm always hesitant when it's a California premiere because it doesn't really, in my eyes, doesn't really make sense. But I was proven wrong because it was some OG industry people who I know and love, and it was just wholesome and good energy, and people who were there wanted to be there, My family got to make it out, which is always rare and special. But we had a great time. I mean, you put that group of people in a room, you're going to have fun,
And you guys surprised Reed with the cover of Slush magazine. Did you know that was coming?
I did know that was coming, yeah. But not about me. It's about Reed, and he really put on throughout the video. You're definitely going to want to see that. Deserves the cover. He deserves everything that he doesn't get. So put him on.
Let's hope Reed secures the bag after that video part.
Yeah,
That was a great segment. Meyer, with the creative direction on that thing, it was just beautiful with the claymation and everything.
I mean, Meyer is a genius. I'm sure many people have said that, but to be able to work with Meyer was, I mean, that's like a bucket list thing, you know? And I remember being, before that opportunity came about, I was like, my body hurts. I don't know. Like, I want to keep snowboarding, but I want to like learn a different way. I don't know, kind of this thing. And then Meyer called me and I was like, well, I have to say yeah to Meyer, you know? And so getting to work with him, it was so fun. And he just cares so much about the people he's working with, about snowboarding, about creating videos. And he's just really good at what he does. And yeah.
Evil genius.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this video part. Song selection, first topic. Fantastic choice. How'd you come up with that one?
Well, I went into war with Meyer. Actually, I know I was just talking greatly about him, but when we went into war. And then, you know, I just realized that I got hurt pretty early on, and I was like, you know what? I need something that's going to distract the viewer. That was my technical play. And so I chose Billie Eilish because, well, honestly, I wanted to use Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton, which also was going hard. Meyer did not like that at all. And so he used the Billie Eilish song, and I mean, like, I like it. I'm a basic, that's the other thing, like, people spend hours searching for this song that no one's ever heard before, and it's gonna be this like groundbreaking thing. No one cares. I'm sorry. No one actually gives a shit about that. I mean, here I go. We're 5 minutes and I'm already like dishing, but I just was, my thought was like, if I give people something that they are already familiar with and it's like good energy, it gives them something to attach to. And like whether, you know, like some girl comes to the premiere who's never seen snowboarding, they're there with like their partner or whatever, and they see this, they're going to immediately attach to that song and be like, oh, I know this. And it is now an introduction to snowboarding. And that's like the deeper pitch of it. But I ultimately just really like that song.
I absolutely love the Billie Eilish song for you. I think it's so Jill Perkins coded. It's just like, she's just like singing her heart out, and it's so passionate. And I also think that that's part of the beauty of you for me, is that like, you're this like cool chick with tattoos who's like really good at snowboarding, but like you're low key basic.
Yeah. And that's like, I am. I will be the person to say that.
And I love that about you, because I am too.
Yeah.
But like, that's why I feel like we initially became friends, because like, I've always, you know, around like my snowboard friends, I feel a little too girly. Then we're at Mount Hood and we're singing Taylor Swift at the top of our lungs. And I was like, Jill Perkins likes Taylor Swift? Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love being basic. You know, I mean, that's my tools, right? Like, that's what I knew and love, and now continue to know and love, is just like the basic stuff. And it's what makes me happy. And I'm not gonna, I think I tried the whole like edgy phase of being like, I wanna be the first person to do this or whatever. And like, I'm like, no, that doesn't, I don't like that.
That's not you.
I want to resonate with myself. And yeah, I think Taylor Swift is a lyrical genius. And I think Billie Eilish has an amazing voice and love her vibe. So power to him.
So mic drop.
So power to him.
Those are great takes. Now, you talked about how you got broke off early in the year. What happened? How long did you film till?
I think I got hurt. It was either February 3rd or February 8th. Somewhere in there, I broke my ankle. And
why,
so that was that.
Why February 3rd or February 8th?
Well, I know it was the beginning of February.
Just like the 3rd to the 8th, like
Just
none of the days in
big
between.
window.
Well, the 3, if you connect it backwards 3, it's like the 8. So in my head, I don't know if it's half the 8 or the full 8.
Okay, that makes
Does that make sense?
Visual learner, I like that.
Yeah, visual learner. Yeah. Sorry, that was fucked. So yeah, somewhere in there I broke my ankle, and you know I kind of had like a doozy, and I was filming with Harry Hagen. I was on a Vans trip, and first spot hit my segue really quick, but I'm just going to explain the injury. So I was filming for Search Party, but I went on a Vans trip, and because I had to do that, and was lucky to do that, loved doing it. But we had an agreement that all the footage was going to go to the Videographs movie. Anyways, we're filming. The first spot I hit, I just like knock my head on the corner of this building. Wasn't even thinking about being an issue for some reason. Like there was a roof above me where I was like, okay, girl, you got to duck. But I didn't think about the one like that I can hit like straight on, you know? So yeah, hit my head on that one. Definitely catapulted me into a different dimension. Huge. Well, you know, I was like recovering, like black eye, everything for like 3 days, and then the next day I break my ankle. And Harry just looked at me, and I was thinking it because the last time I filmed with Harry, I broke my back, and Harry just looks at me and goes, "We just are not destined to film together." And I was like, "Damn it, you had to say that." Like I love Harry, and I wanted to keep filming with him, but I think he's right. I think that's just like bad juju.
That's a thing.
That's a bummer, is what it is. Anyways, back to Videograss. Yeah, I got hurt February 3rd or 8th. And so I filmed from, I think, the last week of November till the first week of February. Yeah.
Sweet. Full part for those who haven't watched it.
We'll see.
Yeah, fantastic part. There's a Patreon question that we should hit, Silk. Maybe tee that up.
Yeah, this question's from Max Trask. And we want to thank Max and all our Patreon members. You guys fucking rule.
Appreciate you guys.
Max says, what was your favorite location and trick that kicked your ass while filming for Search Party?
Ooh, great question. Also, I like your name, Max Trask. That's a cool name.
Good name.
Brother's name, Max. Best or my favorite trick and also kicked my ass, probably the front board on the kink. I think, and that was in Stockholm. Yep, on a no new spot, but it was definitely a battle. Took a couple days, you know, but it's funny, like at the end of those ones, like definitely kicked my ass to the point where I was like just relieved to be done. I mean, we've heard that before, but it was like, just get this out of me so I don't have to do it anymore. So yeah, probably that one.
Let's talk about how many tries specifically.
Oof, I don't know.
Several days, correct?
Several days, yeah. And I remember, I think it was 3, it could have been 4. But they weren't full days because the weather was really like hit or miss there. It's like dark, whatever. And other people totally, we were at other spots and all this stuff. So if it came down to it, like I think the first day, or no, the second day I gave it a full try because I remember trying it and Reed was trying the back one and he was just like, he was getting close kind of and like it was working for me, but with the back one and the lip, it was like he had to fix a lip every time and I just like, go get it, go do this. And then the next day was like my full try. And that was like the most heartbreaking one because there was a lot of close calls that I liked a lot better than, let's say, the make. But I think, I don't know, if you, three full days probably. But the last day, it was on the second try, which was nice.
Second tee?
On the last day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's technically... Yeah, that day it was second try.
That day.
Let's go back to the broken ankle for a second.
Okay.
Because the funny thing to me about the broken ankle was just your unwillingness to accept that it was broken. She's like doing Pilates, like doing all these things, going to the gym, getting so frustrated it doesn't feel better. Like, bitch, I think you have a broken ankle.
Yeah. I don't know.
Walk me through that.
Well, I had broken it before. And I was like, well, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel as shitty, whatever. So I put it off for 6 months, as one does, honestly. One does, yeah. And yeah, so I tried everything. I was like, well, I can't run, so maybe I can like lay on a reformer and like kick my legs and do a plank, and that was working. It was working,
right.
And it was working.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, no, I was just gaining weight and not actually being able to snowboard or do anything. So I said maybe I should go to the doctor, and then, you know what? But I did get an X-ray in Finland. But here's the thing with X-rays. It's like you go and you pay for an X-ray. You can't trust an X-ray.
Can't trust them.
You go, without fail, you go get an X-ray. They're like, it looks broken or it doesn't, but you should get an MRI. Like, cut to the MRI. Don't waste your time with an X-ray.
Yeah, it sounds like a money grub situation.
Yeah, it's stingy doctors.
Stingy doctors, I'll tell you what.
I'm going to go back. I got to go back to this front board. I'm sorry.
Okay, now
I'm sorry.
Now back to the front board.
I'm sorry. Let's go back because to me, this is a monumental front board. And I remember you texted the clip to Jules.
Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why I chose Jules.
And you weren't happy.
Because you knew I'd be proud of you regardless.
You didn't want to use it. And I freaked out because I thought it was one of the heaviest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, you called her, I think.
Did I call you?
You did call me. And then you came up to me at Woodward, probably when I had a broken ankle, and we were talking about it.
You're like, just try it. Just try it again.
Yeah. Wait, no. I was thinking, because the front board on the kink at your event, I was like, did I have a broken ankle there? But no, I didn't. It was cool. I remember always wanting to do that trick. And a lot of things with, and like I am the type of person with filming where I'll see the spot and then kind of decide. And that just kind of was like calling it. The major issue with it was the run-in's not straight. Like you have to like bob and weave your way into this rail, and that was really frustrating. But yeah, it worked out in the end, I guess. I would have liked to do it better. I'm just gonna put that out there for the viewers. I'm not gonna.
Will it ever be enough?
Oh,
You know
hit
what?
me where it hurts.
I got actually a question that's a great segue, and this is from Justin Meyer. Here we go. Hard-hitting question.
Jules, Chris, hello. Great co-host you have there this episode, Chris. Jill, good to see you back in the booth. Quick one. At one point this summer, Jill, you called me wanting to pull all of your footage. And I just want to know what goes on in the mind of Jill in the process of hating and then loving and then hating all of your footage. How do we get there? Anyways, love your video part. I think everyone will too. See you all.
That was really sweet, Meyer. I mean, I took that as really sweet, but, I did call him, and I was just going through my head. I think I took a nice hiatus from snowboarding after breaking my ankle and, like, understanding that it was broken to where I didn't go on Instagram, wasn't looking at anything. I kind of just, like, pretended like last year didn't happen. And I think that mindset of, pull all my footage was kind of like, let's save it. Like, there's maybe, like, one or two things that I really like, and the rest is just kind of, and I don't know. I think I want it to be good. I want my resume and what I put out into the world to be good and well received. And I do feel a lot of expectations, whether I put them on myself or if I feel them from other people. And, that's a fine line where you dance. Like, it's healthy, but it could also be unhealthy at times. And I think that week, I'm just a girl, and that week I was probably like, this is unhealthy. Like, I just don't want to put it out. Like, I don't feel like it's up to where I want it to be right now. And yeah, that's kind of that. And it totally does ebb and flow. And I think one day, like at the premiere, I was like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. And then the next day I was like, oh man, like, I wish I had X, Y, and Z. Like, I wish I came off not to fakie on the front board, or I wish I would have tried this a little bit more, or I don't know, just like there's just certain things that interfere in your mind. I don't know.
Sounds like you have high expectations for yourself, but you also know who you're capable of.
Yeah, I think that is one thing. And that's difficult because it's like in my mind, I put the bar like way higher than maybe it should be. But I also owe a lot of what I have to that. And so I don't like hate that I do that, but there are times where I'm like, I wish I could just be easier on myself and just forget about it. Like, that's what I did. That's how I was able to show up in that time. And that's what I got. But yeah, I think second guessing, everyone I talk to goes through it in snowboarding and probably like in normal jobs as well. And it's scary and it's vulnerable. Like, putting on a video part is really vulnerable because you have people like backing you with money, and like you have people that like look up to you, and you want to do good for yourself, but like ultimately, like, I want to do good for other people as well. So that bar is set to where they like want to get better or progress, or like, I don't know, see snowboarding as something bigger than just like a child's play thing. So I think by like having this community and like all these girls like kicking so much ass right now, I think it's like a huge thing to like, yes, maybe set your standards high and like chase them as well as you can. And I don't know, but it's scary at the same time. Like I said, it's very vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's also like sitting in a theater full of people watching your part, and you don't think about that sometimes when you're like hitting a handrail. Should I do it one more time? You're like, fuck it, it's good enough.
No.
But going back to the front board, to me was so monumental in the fact that there's 100 videos that come out a year. There's 100 videos. Okay. So I'm always like, when I'm watching all these videos, I'm kind of at a certain point in time when I'm watching every video that comes out, and I'm like, give me something to remember. Give me something to remember. And so the cream always rises to the top, and that front board and the Billie Eilish song, and there's a bunch of other bangers in there, your front 270, but there's a lot to be proud of. But I guess my question would be, have you filmed a part that you're proud of, or are you still chasing that opus? Or what is your part you're most proud of?
Well, to answer both of those, I think my favorite is probably the dust box part. But I will say, to counter that, is it wasn't at the time at all. Like, I didn't even consider that. And moving forward,
do you feel like you're going to ever film your opus? Like, are you still chasing it?
I would love to, but no, I don't know. I don't. That's a scary one, because it's like the minute you accept that like this could be over is like the minute it's over. And it's like almost, I would love to do that. Like, I want to put something out that I'm like, in the ride part too, like I tried for that one, and like I would push through injuries with that one too, and like I am proud of that one as well, but I do want more, and I think sure, like a well-rounded video part, I definitely want that sometime in my career. But the scary thing is, if I say yes to that question, like
Then you peaked.
then I peaked, or I can let myself down, and so that question's so hard. I don't want to peak in snowboarding.
Still got more to give. So going back, we talked about the ride video for a second, or you briefly touched on it. And I know there's a great story from your ender that I think Reed maybe shared in a group chat, but I'd love to hear it right from yourself.
The King Krill?
The King Krill, yes.
Ooh, the story was definitely tried that for multiple days as well. But I don't know if this is going to match up with Reed's story, but I guess this is like my take on what happened. I remember first of all, I was like, I hate Minnesota. I'll go ride the rope toes, but I'd never want to film again in Minnesota. It's just like bland and whatever. And it's really not. I just was in this weird like thing where like I first started snowboarding. It was like, you go to Minnesota and you go to Quebec and that's where you go. Like, I didn't have the resources to go other places. So I was just sick of it. And so when I got told we were going to Minnesota, I was kind of like, I'm not going to film anything here, whatever. And we were filming with John Stark at the time, and he was like, I have something that you might be interested in. And he didn't tell me what it was. And I was probably pouting in the front seat and being awful. And he like drove me up to that. And I remember looking at it, and he brought me the story goes, he told me that he brought me for this like jam. There's like a marquee or like a park sign that like jams over it. And there's clips of that. People have done that. And I remember him taking me there, and he's like, look at this. And I just remember like, you like veering to the rail and being like, but this is doable. And so then I was like, okay, like did that. I think we like set it up. I think I tried it a couple times, but it was like late and I was tired after like setting it all up and everything. And so didn't get it. But then I remember being like, I want, like that was like one thing I was like, I want to do this. Like it was the clip in the spot that just is like playing through your head when you're going to bed. And side story really quick, I remember like being so in my head about it that I had to go do something I went up in my room, and I was sharing a room with Savannah at the time. And I like had to put on Grease, because it was like, I love Grease, and it was like a childhood movie that I used to watch all the time. And so it was like numbing for me and like just soothing. But it was funny because Savannah came in, and this is so datey, I guess, but she had no idea, never seen Grease. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. You should probably watch Grease. It's amazing. Anyways, back to the rail. So then watch Grease. And then I remember too, the first day, Reed wasn't at the spot. And I remember I've worked with Reed for like years, and Reed is just somebody who makes me feel so confident and comfortable. And, you know, he's not judging me, he's helping me, and he's patient. And so to have him there, like I have this weird thing where if Reed's there, I'm safe, and it just works. And so he came, and like, I don't know, I think that one also happened pretty quickly after we got there. I think within the first 7 to 10 tries, I think. And I don't know. Like Harry's a curse and Reed's a blessing. I don't know.
And then what happened after you made it?
I don't know what happened.
Didn't you fly to Zoomies 100K or something?
Oh.
To party, basically, to blow up some steam?
Yeah. As much as I try not to be the party girl, it just keeps finding me. It's not my fault.
Escape Moss year?
No. That is maybe, I don't know. Shit, was it? Yeah. So landed the clip, and I remember I was FaceTiming Nicole Haas, like she's going to 100K, and I've gone to, in the winter, I never get to see my skate homies, and I love them with all my heart. And so I'm like, and I want to see them. But yeah, Zoomies 100K is like this like fat party. It's crazy. It's like terrible weather, but like the only thing you have is like your buds and like an open bar. Like you're like, all right. So I remember she's like, you should come. And I was like, Nicole, I can't come. I have to get this rail. Like I can't. And she's like, well, if you land it, and it was like the day of 100K. And I remember I landed the trick, I think before noon, and it was like probably like 11 something. There was a flight at 12:30 at the airport. And I remember getting in the car after the trick, and John Stark just looks over at me and he goes, 100K? And I was like, no. And then immediately I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to 100K. So booked a fight, ran inside, like packed my shit. John took me to the airport, and then I was in Colorado in like 3 hours. And then, yeah, but what was it worth it? Yeah, it was worth it. I had a good time.
Amazing. I love it.
Skate moss thing. No, but skate moss did climb on my shoulders one year at 100K, and I for a second I was like, oh.
It was a go for a second.
No. Jules, in Jules's world, it would have been a go. But
the thing about Jill, the other great thing about Jill is that the girl can book a flight. She can make the party. She can make it happen. It doesn't matter under any circumstance. If it's a good time, she'll make it happen. Ipso facto, your 30th birthday party.
Yeah, I'm going to make it happen. I like to gather with my friends and have a good time. And I want to make sure everyone else is having a good time. So if that means we're going to rent a boat and sing karaoke on a boat, we're going to do it.
And a jet ski.
Oh, and a jet ski.
All types of
fun. But no one doesn't have a good time on a jet ski, so they're necessary.
All right, big news coming at you from the bomb hole. CAPiTA has launched their whole new collection. All of new boards are available now, so check them out. Now, of course, you got staples like the DOA. Everyone loves that thing. Everyone loves the Black Snowboard of Death. Coquard's been putting a beat down on jumps with that thing for years. And then if you're a female, the Birds of a Feather is beloved. That board is awesome. I'm also hearing the newcomers to CAPiTA are loving the Aeronaut, the Megadeth, and the Spring Break Resort Twin. You might see Joey Fava crab walking down the hill on that thing, putting a beat down on the steel. He makes that thing look awesome. And for me personally, I love the Navigator. When it comes to riding powder, riding the resort, I ride the 161 or the 164. It's huge, but it's soft. That's what I love about it. It's a big board, but you can still have fun on it. You can still maneuver it around. So the CAPiTA Navigator would be my recommendation for powder. And then for park, I love the Indoor Survival. Can't go wrong. Great board for presses, great board for park jumps. It's fantastic. And the one thing about CAPiTA that I think is really special is that their factory is handmade in Austria with 100% clean energy. All the boards are handmade, 100% clean energy. Can't go wrong. They're world-class production over there. They make great snowboards. So check out their new website, capitasnowboards.com, or your local snowboard shop, and see if you see anything you like. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
All right, we're going to take a quick break for a message from one of our favorite sponsors, Pub Beer. Don't miss the online premiere of Pub Beer's Beer Lodge, premiering exclusively on all Bombhole channels November 18th. Mark your calendars, November 18th. Watch what happens when you jam a haunted McCall cabin with Curtis Cizik, Ben Ferguson, Eric Jackson, Carson Storch, and many more surprise guests. You won't want to miss it.
Let's talk about bindings. Let's talk about Union Binding Co. I personally think they make the best bindings on the market. I'm biased, but I think that would be the general consensus amongst most snowboarders. We're talking buttery smooth ratchets. We're talking lots of adjustability. But most importantly, I love the clean look. Draplin did the logo years ago, and it is strong. I run the white Union Force Classics on some black pants. I think it just looks timeless, personally. But you can't go wrong with any binding in the line. You know, they have a stacked team of riders. We're talking Travis Rice. We're talking Arthur Longo, Kazuhiro Kahubo, Austin Viz, Jess Kimura. The list goes on of just very talented snowboarders. And it's a company that's owned by snowboarders. It's snowboarders that care about this lifestyle we call snowboarding, and they invest in it, and they make great products. So if you're interested in getting yourself a pair of bindings, check out unionbindingcompany.com. Check out their whole line. You won't be disappointed. All right, we got a special surprise. Impromptu. Sam Taxwood is in the lobby.
Whoa.
Well, you want to pull? You see how it says pull? You want to pull it towards yourself. So we have a doggy door. He's poking his head through the wall right now. Sam, what's happening? What are you doing?
Yo, crew, I've never used this dog door. It's pretty sick.
Yep.
Jill, Jules, Silk, Chris, happy to be here.
How's you're redoing your floor right now? How's that going?
Oh, it's just great. Britt and I haven't gotten in too many fights. She's only tried to strangle me once. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's been good.
Nice. You got a question for Jill?
Yeah, I just, Chris, you were with us up at the Rockstar Open for maybe Jill's 30th birthday. That's why we were there. Got to check out some skating. Got to have some evenings out on the town. just wanted to see if you're still recovering from the old Rockstar Open, Jill.
I don't know if I'm recovering from the Rockstar Open or from the 30-year-old age drop, but I guess both at this point. That was a wonderful time. Happy to celebrate that with you both and be at an event that just brings everyone together. I think it's like pretty great. It was a long 4 days, I will say. I mean, I think I got a text from Steffi Luxon on my last day of being in my 20s and I woke up at 12:30 that day and she's like, hey, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Is that a bad accent?
That's insane.
Not bad. It's pretty good. Good effort.
Jules is
I didn't even know what you're saying.
Pretty good.
She said, I hope you enjoy the last days of your 20s. And I just remember looking at my ceiling being like, I guess this is one way to go out, and then did it again and again and again until I left.
So
but there's only one way to do it. You can't, what am I supposed to do? It's a summer event. You're in a hotel. So we had a great time.
Say that you might be feeling a little bit of washed up at this point.
Yeah. If anything was going to make me feel washed up, it was the 4 days in my hotel room by myself with like no floor space and terrible lighting and, turning 30 being like, what the hell am I doing?
So are we having an existential crisis at being 30 or are we feeling like we still got a lot of gas in the tank? Where are we at?
Depends on the day.
I mean, I'll agree. I just turned 30 as well. So we're both just going through it.
Yeah. I do feel wiser. I do feel stronger. I do feel happier, I guess, ultimately. So crisis averted, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure, I don't know. There's a bunch of young guns there that are really good. And that, as long as I got to just figure out my niche, stick to it, keep on moving, head down.
You know what I've been told? Go ahead.
Keep the old foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Keep the foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And as you get older, the motion is the lotion. You got to just keep moving.
Yep. Head down, keep digging.
Keep digging. That's it. Wise words. Well, Sam, thanks for popping in for that quick question on the dog door.
Hope y'all enjoy the rest of your little soiree in here. It's looking good.
Thanks, Sammy.
It's looking good. I haven't been to the new studio yet, so nice work.
Godspeed with the flooring.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. You have a good rest of the day.
See you, Sam.
Bye, Sam.
All right, I'm gonna segue into a new segment, and we actually have a new jingle. Really excited about the jingle. This is a rapid fire situation, but I'm going to play the jingle. Here we go.
Bombhole rapid fire questions.
Yep, so that's the jingle. We're doing rapid fire questions. This is in regards to the Videograss crew or whoever you filmed with this winter.
I have to take my jacket off for this one. I feel like it might be intense. Hold on.
It's going to be intense, and the biggest thing is you can't say yourself. That's a cop-out for the answer. Some people might be like, who smells the worst? That's me. So
it's definitely not me.
You have to roast your friends, essentially.
You have to roast your friends. You can't cop
That's the
out.
idea here.
Okay,
Start some beef.
We're going to get this thing started. Who gets tricks the fastest?
Ooh, Justin Phipps.
Who takes the longest to get tricks?
I can't say me. Dan kind of takes a while, but that's just because he's precise. And I will also say, does that count as an answer?
The animals.
Like two of the quickest people to get the trick are just very particular, so they take a long time. Like also Jed.
Okay.
It's gonna squeak that one in
Dan's
there.
slow at everything.
Dan is
Yeah,
slow at
maybe
everything.
his trick comes quick, but he moves slow.
Who smells the worst?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Mike Rav. I was like, no one smells.
Who gets the most angry?
Oh, Jed.
Who's the most pleasant to film with?
Ooh, the group, honestly. Tommy's great, Reed's great, Phipps is great, Rav's hilarious. Dan's great. They're all good.
Kind of a cop-out, but you're not
Robbie
throwing
also, okay, here's my answer. Robbie Meehan had me rolling on the floor laughing more times than one this winter. So I'm giving it to Robbie.
Who slams the hardest?
Did you make these questions for me? Oh, Reed, probably. Reed.
Who's the most annoying?
Reed.
Who picks the worst spots?
Oh, no one really. I didn't have a bad time at any. Do you want me to say something? You want me to give an answer? Worst spots?
It's a question for the jugular.
Yeah, worst spots.
Dude, worst spots.
Like for me, it's easy when I'm filming with Sexton. I'm like, good God, you want to try to go to the end of that rail for 7 hours?
Oh, okay. Like the most annoying, challenging spots. What if like they weren't on our crew, but like wanted to be on our crew really bad? Riley Nickerson.
Okay, who picks the worst music in the van?
Oh, goodness. I just stopped listening to the music after a while because it's all pretty bad. It's not Billie Eilish, I'll tell you that much. So
There's a funny story of some people were at Baldface, I think, and Sam kept being on the DJ, and Ilfa went up to him and was like, Sam, you really have to work on your vibe. Like, everyone's getting depressed.
Taxwood?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Oh, I'll say Desiree. Desiree plays the worst
all
music.
E-code, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Desiree and Bodhi together, awful. It is
Super sad.
hit me in the face with a fucking shovel vibes in the van. Yeah. Jed's a pretty good DJ.
Yeah, Jed's a good DJ. I wanted to mention this. We spent like hours in the van listening to prank phone calls instead of music, and they're so funny. And Jed got us on them, and they're like, it just is. I don't even know the name of it right now. I can't think of it, but it's just so good. And it's just this guy voicing over, like calling the same person over and over and over again. And like, we'll ask the person the question and then just be like, wow, like make noises, like have a machine make noises into the mic. And so like that was super entertaining, and it wasn't the worst at all. I really enjoyed it, but some might think that's the worst. Yeah.
Prank calls. That's a life hack. Didn't know that.
Or Matthew McConaughey, motivational
Oh yeah,
speeches.
self-help. Yeah, self-help. That was a good one. Mecca was a good one. Mecca, probably shouldn't get into Mecca.
Can't get into Mecca again.
You guys have you ever been in your car listening to like a book on tape, and maybe it allegedly is in the self-help department, and you're going through a drive-through coffee place and you're like, turn the volume down because you don't want to sound like a serial killer? Or am I on an island?
Is that just me?
No. I go as far as to like make sure that my screen isn't saying like self-help, or no, not even that, but like a song that I'm like, oh, this is really embarrassing. Like I'm changing the song. I'm like, what do the baristas like to listen to? Put it on.
Okay, speaking of Mecca, I just need to put this one out there. This was the worst. I was not hooked up to Bluetooth in the van at any single point in time. The first night of partying, we pile like 13 people into the car. T-Bird's there taking photos. Spencer's driving us around. By the will of God, my phone gets hooked up to the Bluetooth. I had just gotten dumped 4 days prior. I was just like fully like dissociating mode. On the Bluetooth, it comes up with like how to get past your heartbreak. On like a Friday night with a bunch of people in the van. Everyone's like, ooh, like whose phone is this?
No, everybody in that van was like,
insane.
Everyone needed to hear that in that van. Like that was honestly the premise of our entire trip was like just down
Everyone's
bad.
like,
Everyone's
"Don't say his name,
heartbroken.
don't
Yeah,
That's why it was
good.
the funnest weekend ever.
It was so fun. It was good.
Good times. I love it. Well, let's keep it moving. We got a good Patreon question that could be a good segue, Silk.
Yes, we do. This question is from T-Plane, not T-Pain. Those are different people. The question is, what are the biggest takeaways you've learned in the last 3 years since last being on the show?
That's a great question. And I was racking my brain about this before because I do think not much has changed, but at the same time, so much has changed. I think less judgment and accepting myself and others for how they show up and who they are would be good. I do remember, and I thought about saying this, and I am just going to say it. I remember saying, we didn't, you kind of walked me through this, Chris, where I was like, I don't understand the whole ass shaking in front of the camera thing. And I was very vocal about that on the first one. And I think now I'm just kind of like, that's what serves you. That's what you want to do. Go on. Now, that's not like the biggest takeaway, but just one thing that I wanted to address, because you made a good point where it's like it gets people into snowboarding who might not like it otherwise. So power to the people.
Power to the people.
Yeah.
I feel like there's been...
Power to that ass.
Yeah, there's been... When I was looking back on that, if you look, it's freaking 3-4 years ago, whatever it was, you've had multiple video parts. I think probably Dust Box. You've had the ride video. You have this new Videograss part. You've since had like pro models. But one of the main things I noticed is big sponsor change.
I decided to part with a company a few years back based off of some decisions that they had made internally at a brand. And a lot of it comes down to, actually all of it comes down to the way people are treated, and especially women in the workplace, whether it's an office or snowboarding or really anything. And it's ultimately just how people should be treating people. So I decided to leave just based off of a decision that they made after some sexual harassment and verbal harassment things came about. And it's been a while. This is kind of something that I've touched on via Instagram and whatnot, but I do think it's important to talk about. And even if it is hard for myself and for everybody else out there who does struggle with that. So that's huge.
The success of these people and these companies is predicated on our silence and our compliance, those who have suffered at the hands of these things. So now feels like a really good opportunity if you would like to walk us through what happened.
Yeah, I think this story is very important, and I know it kind of took me a while to get to a point where I did feel comfortable sharing. And if it's okay, I'm going to go through this with no names. It's scary to talk about. So yeah, I guess the story goes back to 2021. I had just gotten on a new company, and it was life-changing, and it was a big hurdle for me because at the time, there wasn't a lot of girls on energy drink sponsors in the street space. Jessica Mara being one who is a GOAT, looked up to, such a huge fan. And then, the space was a little bit, it was fully competitive nature as far as like Olympics and stuff go. So when they asked me to go onto an energy drink team, I was a little skeptical and quite frankly nervous and insecure because I wasn't sure why. And it was a big step. And I finally, after thinking about it for a while, I was like, no, you know what? Maybe I can change this space. Or, maybe I don't identify or align with the whole like girls in bikinis on jumps and stuff like that. But maybe if I can get in there, I can have a say in like how this company goes on moving forward. And so it took a lot for me to like kind of swallow my pride and like put that sticker on my board and on my head and be like, this is who I am and this is the team I fly with, Anyways, so I did it. I signed a contract, and the first trip I went on was interesting, and it was for the Burton One World premiere. And I flew out to Colorado, and I met up with a couple of the team riders and the team manager. And it was like, I was excited. I was nervous. I was out of place. I was like with a bunch of, like I said, competitors. So I felt like, I kind of felt like they were looking at me like, what are you doing here? Like, it was just uncomfortable for me. But that was okay. And I was excited to be there ultimately. And then as the night started going off, we would go to the premiere, and it's like fun and everyone's hanging out. It was like kind of like towards the end of COVID. So it was like a car drive-in movie theater situation. And I remember getting there, and the team manager had drove us there, and we were hanging out, and I was hanging out with some of the girls I haven't seen in a while, kind of just like mingling. And then it was like time to go. And I remember thinking like, how are we going to get back? Like, everyone's kind of been drinking. We were kind of drinking a little. The manager's been drinking a little. And then he just drove us home. And I remember thinking like, oh, like this isn't ideal, but I felt so scared to say something because of how new I was in this space, where I just like didn't say anything, and I just like kind of just like bottled that in. And we get back, and everything was seemingly fine. We like go into, one of the people at the event was having a party in their hotel room for a little bit, just kind of get everybody together before going out that night. And I remember walking in the hotel room with everybody, with the team manager, with the people on the team that I was with, and other mutual friends. And there was kind of like a party going on in like the kitchen area, and then in one room there was people playing dominoes, and there was like 7 people in that room. So I was like, ooh, okay, I'm gonna go sit and play dominoes. That feels safe for me, like just kind of like trying to look out for myself there. And so I remember sitting down and playing dominoes, and everything was like totally fine. And I remember like things started getting louder, like everyone started getting a little bit more rowdy like in the other room. And all of a sudden the team manager, he came in and he wanted to play dominoes as well. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, and I want to say like, we were like becoming friends at the time. Like we were acquaintances. We like went to the same gym. We had mutual friends. Like he reached out to me to get on. And so I didn't feel odd in this moment yet, Anyways, like he kind of like nudged me over. He's like, scoot over. Like I'll play with you. We'll share a chair. And like, I'm friends with my team managers a lot of the times. So that wasn't weird to me yet. And we're playing, and he like started to get like a little hostile, like kind of like pushing me and like shoving me, but like not like to the ground, but like joking around. And I was like, okay, like you're getting a little intense, but I'm just, again, like whatever, this is the world we live in. And then what really like made me question what the hell was going on was at one moment he looked at me and he said, "Who do you think is hot in this room?" And I was like, what? He's like, "Who do you think is hot in this room? Like guys or girls? Like who are you attracted to?" And I remember being like, thinking in my head, like, this is so out of pocket, but like, I'm going to give the safe answer that I give everybody who asks that, like, oh, you know, like I just like people, like whatever. I don't know. I don't like have an answer, kind of just vague. And I just remember sitting there and looking at the people around who had heard him say this. And I remember looking at one girl and she was like, that was inappropriate. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is really weird. And then that was like the first stage of me being like, that's not something you say to people or in a work environment at all. And then moving forward, we kind of just like hung out there. He kind of got up and started to do other things. And we then got in a car to go to like an after party at somebody's apartment. And we get in the car and it's packed and there's other girls in there, there's other guys in there. And I remember sitting and he was kind of putting his arms around girls and just kind of like being weird, and it made me uncomfortable. And that's not my story to tell what he was doing to other girls, but I remember feeling like attached to this person that I could see making others uncomfortable and myself, and just kind of getting like bad feelings about it. Anyways, we finally get to the party where I knew like Stan was there, like some of my really good friends were there, where I was like, okay, this is like safe for me. I have a new environment to walk into. So I go in there and he walks in and he's like yelling and saying crazy things and talking about money and how hot his team is and like kind of just like gross things that, again, I almost was so embarrassed that I was just taking a step back. And I guess I'll just get to it. Like at one point, like we were leaving and we had came with another girl and her boyfriend. And I remember being uncomfortable by my manager, and I remember her being uncomfortable by this person as well. And so we kind of had this vibe going, me and the other girl, where it was like, are you okay? Are you okay? You know, and through our eyes, like it was like nonverbal at this point. And I remember at one moment we were leaving and I can see, or I was standing talking to Stan, and my manager comes up to me and he's like, we're leaving. And he's like kind of like yelling in my face, like, we're leaving. He's like yanking at my arm, like pulling me, essentially, like pulling my arms. And I was like backed up against a wall at this point. And I was like, I'm not going with you guys. I'm going to stay with Stan. Like, I want to stay with my friends. Like at this point, I was so uncomfortable. I didn't want to go home with this group of people. And then I saw the other girl who was with us and she was getting up to leave. And I went up to her and I was like, hey, are you going to go? And she was like, yeah, I'm going to leave with them. And I was like, okay. So then I'm still sitting there talking to Stan, like waiting for the Uber. And this person comes back up to me. He's like, we're leaving again. Excuse me. And I remember because it felt like I left my body, but this man like put his hands on the side of my boobs and pushed me up against the wall. And he's like, we're leaving. And I remember like looking him dead in the eye and I felt him pushing my boobs together. And I remember like at this moment, just like grabbing his arms and kind of like pushing him off and just like not saying anything. And I just like full shock, like just like no words, like nothing. And so then whatever, he goes away. He's drunk with the other kid we came with. And I'm just standing there like, holy fuck. And I just like look over at Stan and Stan's kind of looking at me like, and I just like, I grabbed the other girl we were with and we walk outside and I'm like a fucking ghost. Like I remember just being like, whoa. And anyway, so the boys take the elevator and me and the other girl take the fire escape, like the stairs. And I got in there and I remember just kind of being silent for a second. And I just looked at her and I was like, I am so uncomfortable right now. And she looked at me and she was like, why? And then she's like, actually, fuck that. I know exactly why. Like, you're never going to believe what this man just said to me. He said, I want to see you and Perkins fuck. And after hearing that, I was enraged, but I didn't know what to do. So I'm now on my first trip with this brand new company that was like life-changing for me and like scary for me to even indulge in, but then did it. And then this happening the first time. Anyways, so we get downstairs and the Uber's there and the girl looks at me and she was like, you should sit in the front seat, because she knew how uncomfortable I was. I knew how uncomfortable she was, but she had her boyfriend with her. And so I don't know. I don't want to talk for her. Anyways, so I'm sitting in the front seat and we're driving home. And I remember just like the loudest noises in my mind, like just like racing through my brain, like, but in dead silent. Like I couldn't speak at all. I didn't know what to say. I was just looking straight ahead, looking at the Uber driver to kind of like fucking step on it, like do anything. And then they were chatting. And then at one point the manager reaches over the back seat of the car and wraps his arm around my neck and they're talking about something. And then he's like, I just signed this beautiful bitch right here. And I remember just like sinking, like, and yeah, I guess that's like the gist of what happened during that night. And I got back to the hotel and we got out of the car and the other girl was like, you should go up to your room. Like, I'm going to be okay. And so I just went up and I had a complete meltdown. And that was that. And then the next day, you know, I remember I didn't sleep a wink. And the next day I woke up and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, you know, you hear of these things happening and then it happens to you and you're like, oh my gosh, I understand why people don't talk about, like, I don't know, like you immediately feel like shameful or you feel like you justify it, right? Like to where you're like, it's not that big of a deal or something like that. Anyway, so that was going on. And then I continued to get like, we were supposed to get coffee, him and I, the next morning, because I almost was like, I kind of want to clear this air. But he was already at the bar by the time we were supposed to get coffee and I was going to talk to him about it. And proceeded to drunk text me throughout the day and send me songs. Like he sent randomly, like, you know, and I was trying to keep the peace because I felt like that was what I had to do because now this is my employer. And that's like heavy. Like I didn't know what to do in that moment. So I just kind of was like, haha, like it's all good, you know, like, anyway, so that's kind of the story.
Well, thank you for sharing, first of all, and I'm so sorry that happened. I'm curious if you could take me to the point where you decided to leave.
Leave the company?
Leave the company. Like, at what point did you decide that this behavior is not okay and cannot continue?
Yeah, I think initially I wanted to, but I didn't know how. And I also, I don't know. It was scary. I almost just wanted to push it down. And I think what really did it for me, I'll never forget this either. Like that happened. We had talked about, like I called him on my way home from Colorado and I was like, hey, like this is what you did and this is what happened. And that's not okay. And I thought that was something that I can handle myself. And, you know, he was like, he had what he had to say. And I don't want to speak for him. I just want to talk about my experience. So a couple months later, you know, now we're filming. I'm filming for It's Love with Vans and we're standing in a Tim Hortons. I'm in Canada. We're like in between spots. I'm in the mindset of work at this point. And I get a phone call from this guy being like, just rambling about like, hey, just want to make sure we're all good, you know? And like, and I'm like, I remember looking at my team manager over at Vans and filmer and just being like, how dare he call me and ruin my fucking day again? Like, why, how dare he bring this up? And I think to me, I was like, that is when my brain mentally made the first switch. And it took a couple. But I remember that being like, I can't live my life like this anymore of me, like every time this person calls me, because essentially like he's still my boss, where I go into this like traumatic response. So that was like the first thing. And then the second, we'll say there's three. The second one was we had a spring shoot for this company. And, you know, we all had to go. And it was a women's shoot. And we invited some of the guys to come with us. And, that was great. I love that. I love the team. I love all the riders. It's sad to depart from them. I think they're all so amazing. And I remember getting a phone call from him. He's like, yeah, don't worry. We have a girl's house and a guy's house. And I remember thinking like, this isn't my fault. Like because you put your hands on me, now you're going to segregate our friends. Like you're going to make, and I remember being like so mad at that because I'm like, I did nothing to deserve this. Like, and now the girls are like, so weird that there's a guy's in a girl's house. And I'm in my head being like, it felt like it was my fault, and that was the second straw. And the third was, when I got a call from another team rider saying like, hey, this just happened to me. Can you please say something? And from then on, I was just like, this is not okay anymore. And it's not stopping. And I shouldn't have even given it the grace period to potentially see it stop because that's when other people get hurt.
So what was your process of trying to approach this company to do something about it?
I was quite frankly a little scared because I was so new. I wasn't sure who at the company I could trust. And so I kind of decided that I was going to go through the Canadian side of it and kind of talk to their HR and talk to people who work in-house in Canada and, just present them with this story and be like, hey, this is what happened. Like, one, who do I talk to? Two, what do you think? Like, is this a story or not? Because like when those things happen to you, like your mind is so powerful that it will almost convince you that it's like, it's okay, or it's not real, or maybe I did something to provoke this, And so I think that was another reason why it took me so long, because I had to finally accept to myself that this behavior performed by this person was wrong. And quite frankly, anyways, so I go through the Canadian people. They're like, yes, this is super inappropriate for one. Two, here's the contact to the United States HR person at this company. So then I contact the HR woman at the company and I kind of give all the facts and she works on it for a while. I think it took like 2 to 4 months and word came back and it was handled very poorly. And it just turned into another situation where I got pulled away from something that I worked hard to. Like I now just operated under a different manager, but this manager still had their job.
No punishment at all for that person.
From my understanding, I don't know, but they were still employed and they were still the team manager.
How do you feel like that should have been handled?
I think this should have been handled with a zero tolerance policy. And I think sexual and physical and verbal harassment is really wrong in the workplace to whoever. And I just want to read the definitions, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
Sexual harassment is defined as unwelcomed conduct of a sexual nature that creates a hostile or offensive environment or interferes with an individual's work performance. Which, someone texted me that after I told them my story because I was like, I don't know if this is if this constitutes as sexual harassment. And I'm, going through these, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, so me going forward to this company and telling them the story and them just being like, I don't know why they made the decision they made, but I guess, zero tolerance policy. And if you don't allow sexual or physical harassment in the workplace, then back it and take the necessary steps to weed those people out of the positions of power. Morally, I cannot sit and continue to take money or work or promote this company that allows this person to sit at the table and make decisions and kind of ruin people's lives. And so it was kind of a no-brainer for me when I just decided I can't be around this. It was, okay, let's just say this. It was a lot of weight, and I didn't realize how much weight that had on me because the incident took place my first event with this company. And I was silenced. Like I felt like I couldn't say anything. I felt like I didn't have the power or the weight or I couldn't talk about it because I was so new, and I could just as easily as I got put on, I could be kicked off. And that was really scary because it was a life-changing decision to get onto this company, right? And so I was silent for a while, and it made me scared, and it made me not want to do my job, and it made me like, there's things in life that we work really hard for. And sorry, snowboarding is like what I chose to work really hard at, so I can go.
Take your time.
One sec. Okay. Snowboarding is something that I've worked really hard at, so I can get the opportunity to travel the world with my friends and leave this place better than I found it, and like exist and like be my own person. And you know, it's like that's all I wanted to do. And so when somebody like takes that from you by acting the way they act and making the decisions to say the things that they say and put their hands on you, that just gets ripped out from underneath you. All of your hard work feels like it didn't matter because this person just took it away in 10 seconds, you know? And to me, I had a really hard time with that. I don't know exactly where I was, but that's like the biggest way. And I didn't realize, okay, so when that happened, like when the altercation took place, and I shut down. And yeah, like I said, it was making me like hate my job. I remember like grabbing my snowboard and looking at the stickers on my snowboard and being like ashamed that I even still had this on there. And I thought that this was an issue that I could handle myself. And like, I'm strong enough to deal with this. Like, I don't need to like make this a big deal. Like, I don't need to like go ruffle the feathers because I don't know why, because it was easier for me to not, you know? And because talking about it, obviously, it's like emotional and it's hard. So that kind of happened, and I kind of just like put my head down and ignored it for a while. And then I realized I was talking with some of the girls on the team, and I just like asked them point blank. I was like, have you ever had an experience, you know? And a few months later, I get a phone call from another person on the team saying like, hey, can you say something because this just happened to me as well? And that broke my heart because I almost felt responsible because I didn't say something soon enough. And that was my initial fear, was like, if I don't say anything, it's going to keep happening. And it does continue to keep happening. And it's terrible. And you know, after I put out that Instagram thing, it was very short and sweet, to the point, I guess. The amount of people who reached out to me and said, whether it was a different situation or not, different people involved, different companies, whatever, the amount of women that like don't say things about this, amount of people that don't speak up about this is also frightening and sad and scary. And I guess long story short is, I mean, it shouldn't have to be cut short, but I just want people and companies to take responsibility for the actions that are being held, like hold them accountable. Like you are now robbing me and other people of the things that we have worked so fucking hard for and just making it seem like it's not a big deal. But like, newsflash, it's a ginormous deal. Like, it has robbed me from feeling comfortable around the place that I have to exist and making decisions based off of like who's going to be around. And no one should have to live their life that way. And no one should have to like quit a job because they're feeling uncomfortable and the company is making the decision to just shove you to the side. I don't know.
So how do you see brands being held accountable?
If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable and this is why. And even if they don't say this is why, but if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, this is making me uncomfortable, it's probably serious, because I know it, other people know it. It takes a lot for somebody to come forward and say that. So especially to a big company, or to any company for that matter, if somebody's going out of their way to share with you, you better fucking listen.
Especially like just put into context of history, especially being a woman, especially probably being one of the only women in the room, and historically what we've seen when women do come out about certain things, especially one person. Like, you didn't have people behind you necessarily corroborating your story or backing you. Like, when it's one person trying to use their voice to make a difference, that's an extremely hard thing to do that I don't think people understand.
And you know what? As sad as it is for me to sit here and say this right now, it makes sense, because look what just happened. Like, I finally got the courage to go forward and say something, and the company decided that they were going to do not the right thing about it. I wouldn't say they did nothing, but they didn't go about it the right way. And moving forward, for people listening, and if you've ever felt this way, if ever happened to you, I just really want people to feel backed and loved. And the way that we can make that happen is by brands making the internal right decision and allowing a safe space for people to come forward and feel heard and feel like respected and not put people through this, because it is really, it keeps people out. And like, this whole situation has made me think about how many great people, like probably some of the greatest at what they do, have been kicked out because stuff like this happens and they don't feel seen or heard. And that is because of brands making the decisions to not listen to them. And it's not only the brands that, I do want to say this because this is huge, and I've been dealing with this recently, where it's not even the brand that this all happened underneath, but it's the supporting sponsors and it's the supporting brands. And I've had to have difficult conversations with like my current sponsors about like, 2 years ago, remember when you're like, we got your back, and now you're paying money to be beside this company, like stuff like that. And that was really well received. So I'm not slandering them at all, like but I think the change that needs to be made has to come from something bigger. And a lot of that comes from corporations and money and the people internal listening and making those decisions. So like, if we have brands standing up for the right thing to do and other brands see that, then they can follow that lead. But all it takes is the first one to do it, and then someone else to do it, and then just make it appropriate again. Like, make it like, don't support bad shit. Like, why are you doing that? End of the story. Like, I don't understand it.
That's what I was going to say, is like, it shouldn't even be, and it's not really a matter of like, this brand has this much money, or like this person has this notoriety or status. It comes down to right or wrong.
I don't blame I definitely do not blame the companies for being like, oh my God, I totally forgot that happened, because whatever, like, of course it did. But what I want to see and what they are doing in response is like, I'm like, oh yeah, like, what can we do about it? And they're like, what do you need? And like, that is the support and the like camaraderie that we need as people to protect our space. Like, let's protect what we have made and like what we continue to add to, because if we keep allowing these people to come in and make decisions that are ripping people away from it, like, we're going to be left with trouble. Like, it's not, I don't know. And so I think it comes down to like people in positions of power, just like hearing each other out, understanding what you said, right from wrong, and like acting on it. And I think it's really difficult for people to act on things.
Is there anything that you would say to a girl maybe going through that right now?
Yeah, I think I'm sorry. It's not your fault. I encourage you to speak up when you're ready. And you can call me anytime. Because I'm really ultimately just, I'm really sorry, and your voice means something, and together we can all hopefully get this to stop.
Also, like, just hearing likely speculations or whatever, like, there's nothing that you personally, this situation, there's nothing for you to gain out of this. Like, you didn't want to have to walk away from this sponsor. You didn't want to have to be in this situation. That was a hard decision to come to. And like, I don't know, I just feel like people can sometimes say like, well, it wasn't even that bad, or like, just they want attention or whatever it may be. There's literally nothing to gain from having to walk away from one of the biggest sponsors that you've had probably up until that point. It's I just can't even understand that mindset.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to say?
You're right, Jules. Like, it wasn't something that I wanted to do. I wasn't like, oh, thank God this happened to me because now I have something to talk about. Like, no, this is something that, like, you know, I never understood what a panic attack was until this happened. I never understood mentally and physically shutting down until this happened. And regardless of how somebody wants to say, or if someone wants to say, like, it wasn't that bad, or, you know, have their own speculations, like, you don't know until it happens to yourself. So why are you even speaking on that? Because it wasn't you and you weren't involved. And I'm here to share my, like, I'm not here to say this person did this and this and that. I'm saying this is how I now live my life because of this situation. And I had to make a decision to leave this company because of X, Y, and Z. And that affected me in these ways. And yeah, I just think I don't know. I think it needs to be talked about. Yes. And I think it needs to be put on the table. And I encourage people who are struggling to come forward. I know it's hard. And, like, I don't want you to feel like you're not doing your part by not saying something. But I guess I am here to say that you can.
I just can't say thanks enough for sharing your experience. And it's important and it's valid. And it's great for people to hear, especially if they're going through a similar experience.
Thank you for giving me a space to do so and share, like, my story of what of it that we spoke about. But yeah, I think, no, I mean, it's huge of you all to allow the space for me to talk about it. So really, thank you.
Okay. Lastly, to sum it all up, what would you say the necessary steps are for brands to make their riders and employees and anybody that's a part of a brand feel safe and feel good being a part of whatever brand that is?
I think listen, digest, and take action. Because action is so necessary to get things done. I also think zero tolerance policy. Like, there shouldn't be excuses made for behaviors. I don't care if it's, oh, they were just drunk, or, oh, they're just boys being boys, or no, it doesn't, that's not an excuse. And I heard that. I heard that from multiple people after this happened, not multiple, but 2 people after this had happened who have come forth to me and apologized since then, being like, that was super fucked up. I'm so sorry. And that is just, it's inexcusable behavior, and brands should know better. So I think listen, digest, and take action to keep this place safe. It's special to so many of us. And you're hands down going to ruin it if you allow this shit to keep flying.
Well said.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was good.
Especially fucking it's male-dominated sport. You know, it's like for the past 100 years or however long snowboard's been around, it's like fucking 98% dudes. You know, so it's important to make women feel safe in this space.
Yeah, especially someone literally in a position of power. And it's like, oh, well, like, that dude's just kind of a creep. It's like, okay, well, no, actually. Like, then don't let him be the one in charge who's, like, taking responsibility for us. I don't want someone who's a fucking creep to be taking responsibility of
Totally. And I think
my career.
No. And I think at this point in my career, I had just also come out. Like, I was, like, just publicly gay. So then for that to happen, I was like already fucking beaten down in my own head. I wasn't getting beaten down by the public, but I was beaten down in my own head. And it was just this huge life hurdle that I had to deal with. And then just to get fucking shat on again, I was like, yo, like, is this a plate? Like, am I really going to live my life around these people that just are, like, destroying the minorities that are in our sport? Like, it just was kind of fucking brutal. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it has been a male-dominated sport, and it's so rad to see all these super talented, well-spoken, kind, individual women come in and, like, do their thing. And I will say I've watched the boys grow and accept and welcome these women in. There's definitely more to be done on everyone's aspect. And I'm not here to like attack the men, like by any means, like not me. I thrive with them. I love them. I spend 90% of my year with them, you know, and there's a difference between a good man and a bad man, just like there's a difference between a good girl and a bad girl. And however you want to identify, just be a good person.
Yeah, that's an important point to make, I think, because like this is by no means ever going to be an attack on men. Like but the boys like need to be taught also, because it's no one's fault. It's an entire history and system. Let's just fucking say it, the patriarchy. Like the patriarchy.
Down with the patriarchy.
People don't know any better unless they're taught, unless they're told, and that's why we have conversations like this.
Totally, and I think that there's a grace period. I mean, with certain things, right? Like maybe not harassment, but like with learning how to adjust to being in a space with. Like, okay, like this dude's never filmed with a girl before. Well, these are some things that you need to adjust in order to make everyone feel safe. Because chances are, I mean, I've talked to the boys about it. They're not comfortable as well. And the girls aren't comfortable and the guys aren't comfortable. And it's been this thing where, okay, how can we get together and make everybody comfortable? And I think with events, they're like, there's more place for women in the industry and it's more inclusive. And again, I'm going to say this again and again, we can still do work, but it's moving, and you know, Rome wasn't built overnight. Like we just need people in the positions of power who are going to make things feel safe and welcoming. And I think, you know, as our generations, as we keep getting older and these roles continue, these shoes continue to be filled, we can just get the correct people in there to then set the new standard of how people should be treated.
All right, we're going to interrupt this programming to talk about one of my favorite brands, Autum Headwear. Their motto is Style Matters, and it shows. If you look at their team, they got some of the most stylish riders on the planet. It's rider-owned. This is a brand owned by snowboarders. Brad Alband is the genius behind it. He's done great work over there. And they have great fits on the beanies, most importantly. You know, here at the Bomb Hole, we love what we call a deep resi fit, the reservoir tip, so to speak. So they have the surplus fit, which is kind of a resi. They have the shorty fit, which is shallow. You might catch Silk D wearing one of those. They also have the simple fit that's right in between. And I was just on their website. The apparel is impeccable. So great company, rider owned. If you're interested in getting a great beanie this winter, head on over to autumnheadwear.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order, and keep that dome piece looking great with an autumn bonnet. All right, we got a special announcement from Gozney Pizza Ovens and the Bomb Hole. If you go on their site and you type in BOMBHOLE20, you'll get 20% off your Rock Box pizza oven, and these things kick ass. We just did a barbecue for Steven's birthday party. It was a surprise shindig. Kyle brought one of these things over. You plug it into some propane, you throw some dough with some toppings on it, and boom, a minute later, you got a delicious pizza. Cooks at 950 degrees. And I'll tell you, pizza tastes better when you cook it yourself. That's a scientific fact. You'll be a golden god at the cookout with a Gozney pizza oven. So be sure to check them out. They do cool stuff for snowboarding. They support events like Be Somebody, the Dust Box event, and they supported our event, Dogfight, showed up, cooked pizzas for everybody. They were all delicious. So definitely don't sleep on Gozney. It's a great gift for a loved one, great gift for yourself. If you like good food, get yourself a Gozney pizza oven for the backyard. They are awesome. And our special offer is, if you go to Gozney.com and you use the promo code BOMBHOLE20, you will save 20% off your Gozney Rock Box. Again, BOMBHOLE20 for 20% off your Gozney Rock Box. You will not be disappointed. So check them out. Cook different with Gozney. Well said, dropping freaking bombs over here. I love this. As you were talking, I was thinking about us idiot dudes in the van, and we like to learn by example. Okay, we got some thick skulls, which is really good because we can go. We've talked about it, but you can go hollow head, backlip the kink. You know what I mean? We can turn these brains right off, no problem. But let's just you got a couple examples. We're in the van. There's 4 or 5 dudes. You're the only female in the van. What are a couple no-fly zones?
You know, this is so funny. We were just talking about this. We were with a group of my friends, and we were like, we're still going to do this, and maybe this is the testament that we're going to do it. Now I'm going to force them to, but you know, we should have everybody watch what are those things called? The
harassment in the workplace videos.
Yeah, harassment in a workplace video coming to a screen near you. We're going to have one for snowboarding and how to act in a van and on a trip with a girl. You know, Kennedy said something that was so fucking funny. They're like, you know, when you're thinking about talking about your dick, don't. Like, there's just things that maybe you don't do constantly, and it's talking about your dick. Because I've seen the boys get uncomfortable when I mention a period or something like that. And I'm like, yo,
God forbid.
God forbid. Like,
God forbid.
Like,
For the listeners, Jules' head is bobbing back and forth as she says that, if you didn't get a visual.
I'm seething.
Also, I want people to know, and this, you know, probably never going to happen, but statistics show that women only perform, I don't know if you know this, Chris, but at their peak level of performance 4 to 5 days out of the entire month. So for the viewers and listeners, which I think is probably a lot of men, women, or when you're watching a women's video part and you're like, oh, it's not like the dudes, well, take this in. They only have 4 days a month to film at their highest capacity. So it's a fun fact, and I stick to that. And so yeah, we're out there working really goddamn hard on ourselves. And
to explain the science of that, just because they may not understand, women in their reproductive years quite literally exist to birth child. So our bodies each week of the month are changing based on how we can accept a seed, essentially. And there are certain times of the month where you're so tired and your body's like working really hard internally in order to make your innards ready for a baby. And so outwardly, it's really hard to perform. And that's like legitimate. Like Jill and I go to the gym. We all go to the same gym. And like there are certain days when I'm like, I'm not doing this because I'm fucking tired because my body wants to produce child right now.
Yeah,
like, and there's science backing it and it's so understudied, and I like won't get too into it because I'm just an absolute nerd about that stuff. But there's also like that psychological element of protecting the womb. So yeah, if you're looking at those facts, women are actually way better in snowboarding than guys.
I'm talking 4 days, what we film for 3 to 4 months. That's 12 to 16 days peak level performance.
The front board on the kink must have been in that window.
Yeah, it fell on the good day for sure.
Second try, she was in the window.
God. Yeah.
Also, like talking about the harassment training video, mine would be, I love talking to guys about like dating and stuff, but when you're like bro talking about like objectifying women, it just sucks. Like it just doesn't feel good. I love the like girl talk, like the like, oh my gosh, I like this girl, what should I do? But like what'd you say?
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
What did you
I said like the juice, but I think I got it wrong.
Yeah,
you're talking about tactics, like.
Yeah,
or she's talking about
how to
juice. Like I
even
F'd that B last night.
Yeah, like or just like, dude, those fucking tits. Like it honestly just sucks to hear, and it's uncomfortable, and it's like constant at times, and I feel like we don't really surround ourselves with guys like that. But sometimes when you're the only girl, you just like see how they talk when you're not around, and you're like, damn, I hope my boyfriend's not like that. Like I hope my like brother's not like that, or like I mean whatever, like I know people are, but just like maybe think twice.
I think that's what it comes down to. It's just be aware of your surroundings.
Be aware of your surroundings, because we objectify men all the time too, and it's just like
all the time.
Time and place. Time and place.
Good point. That's a good point.
So yeah, the video's gonna come out soon. We'll tell you what you can and can't do on the trips, and yeah, just don't.
It's gonna be a must watch.
Basically, if you're thinking of saying something, just don't say it.
Yeah, just don't
and
say
then
it.
you'll be good.
No, just use your brain and like dig fucking deep and try to find a better joke.
Wait, what did you say? That's crazy. Use your brain? Have you ever heard of that? Chris?
No, have you
I just
ever,
think of
like-
things when I say them. It's impulsive.
Yeah, like maybe use like the back part of your brain that's like smart and try to come up with like a witty joke.
Yeah, maybe
instead
say
of,
it
like,
7 times internally before it leaves the mouth.
instead of like a jerk off joke. But like there's a place and time for them too, you know?
Ah, that's tough though. Those are pretty funny.
Well, they
Those
are funny.
very
I do want to say like
I'm just fucking with you.
they can be funny. Like,
and we laugh at them.
I laugh. But when you
What
know
about diarrhea? Because to
when
me,
you-
diarrhea is funny.
See, I don't think diarrhea is funny. I don't think
Okay.
farts are funny.
I
but
get
I don't
gross.
think they're offensive.
No? Okay. Just kind of
Oh yeah, yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Right.
Like are you like you're shitting your pants or
Yeah, just stuff
Like
like
that
that.
would be
saying-
funny. I would probably laugh if you shit your pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good. This is a good learning lesson.
Yeah, Chris, if you ever have any questions, please call us.
You know, let's just stay deep in this wormhole because this is fun.
Right.
So you know, the other advantage I think men have is that generally most males, their fathers don't really know how to show love properly unless we do good at sports. And then we learn that we are loved when we are good at sports. And it's a disadvantage because I don't know if that's the same experience for women in some ways too.
Well, just to bring up the Barbie movie, that was the part of the Ken song that I loved so much, where he's like, "And I'm good at doing stuff." I was like, that's so on point, because guys literally like feel like they need to be good at shit to exist, to validate their existence. And I think for me personally, just because I think it's different for you. I was gonna say something. I'm not in the world of like having to be like a competitive like sports person. It's more or whatever. It's more like
I just get to objectify them
how
instead.
docile can you be? How good at caretaking can you be? How easygoing can you be? Like just
boom, easygoing.
Yeah, like
is she easy? Can she get in the van with the dudes? That is the question.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that question, I'd be rich, which would be sick because no one's rich in snowboarding.
And maybe we could come to an agreement of like, yeah, she can get in the van with the dudes if the dudes like maybe stop talking about their dick, like just a little bit, just a little bit. But
we're solving the world's problems right now. This is fantastic. Keep going.
No, I mean, to your point, Chris, like I think that is true, and like that, I feel sad for you guys, for that's the only way that you guys feel loved is when you're good at stuff. But you know what's really sexy to women is when you're good at listening. Oh my God.
And communicating.
And like,
wait, I gotta
and
say,
self-aware.
I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in there and not listen. What I need to say
So
here
not hot.
is being good at stuff is sweet, dude. Like I love Tom Brady. Like
see, Tom Brady gives me the ick.
See, cause like or whatever. Anybody that's like
I loved his roast.
That's great at what they do. You're kind of like, I like this guy.
You know what? I agree. I'm not gonna sit here and say I love Tom Brady. I don't care. He's great. Obviously, he was retired 17 fucking times and some whatever. Divorced though because he probably didn't listen.
He was married to the game.
It's just like, why do you like? To me, like, yeah, be good at stuff, but like, you need to be the best. Like,
Okay.
it's just like
Okay.
it's like kind of an ick. Like more balance.
What else has changed since 3 years ago? I used to want to be the best. Now
It's kind of cringe to be the
Now
best.
you are the best. Now you are the best.
No. But I'm just saying. I agree with you, Chris. I also do like to be good at things. It does feel. It feels nice. That's all I got to say about it.
Well, you actually said in your bomb hole 3 years ago that you're attracted to people who are really good at stuff, which is funny.
I am.
Because I feel like we're like best friends, and I'm like not particularly good.
You're good at things. You're good at things.
You run the goddamn whole operation here, Jules.
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking
I'm not
about?
fishing for a compliment. It's
No,
Or
Jules,
am I?
you are very talented and you are very kind and you do listen and you are good at things.
Have you ever seen her try to hang up a shelf or whatever?
No, I get calls though. I get calls about it.
Yeah, no.
See, but who do you call? But you call me because I can do it, but I also listen to you. Like you can be yelling at me the entire time and I'll hang the shelf.
Yeah.
But basically, I agree with both of you. I got a little bit of both in me. So
But going back to being good at things, being sweet though, there is, as much as we're like joking around about these kind of like social patriarchy, deep-rooted issues and parents and all these other things, like when you push yourself on your snowboard and you do something that you didn't think you were capable of, it's fucking magic. You get a freaking rush from it. You get some confidence. You're like, I didn't even know I could do that. What else can I do? And there's something beautiful with that, as much as we're joking around about it. Like pushing yourself on your snowboard as you've done, I'm sure has been greatly fulfilling.
no, I totally agree with you. I think snowboarding, like progressing in snowboarding and getting to a place where I am now has allowed me to have a voice, which I probably wouldn't have found otherwise. I mean, if there was something else that I was doing that I excelled at, but it has given me confidence, like you said, to sit in front of you, share my story, talk about things, talk about the industry, and like just like be genuinely myself. And I hate to say that dates back to just like being good at, like it's sad to say that like because I feel like I can snowboard better than the average person that I have confidence, because that's sad. But I will say it has helped me completely. And it's really cool. Like the opportunities that I get through wanting to be good at snowboarding also have taught me to just be a better human being. And I think being good at things, like whether it's building a shelf or building something, like you do that and you have that sense of confidence to where you do feel like you are capable of taking on other challenges. So it's cool.
I agree.
That's a great
We're getting her. We're getting her.
I'll also say, though, that when you're not specialized and particularly good at any sort of one thing, and then so you put your confidence on that thing, then you're forced to just like find it elsewhere through self-love and like internal peace.
But that's also a challenge. Like that is something
it's the
that
biggest
you can
challenge.
be. Yeah, it's huge. And like, but it doesn't have to be, being good at a thing doesn't have to be a physical thing. Like being good at self-love is big in its own way. Like that's almost the ultimate big thing, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't have to find that validation in other things to be good at. You find it in yourself. And that is truly, I think, what the goal is, right?
Yeah, and then you talk about that a lot, where you're like, well, we wouldn't have Michael Jordan, or we wouldn't have like we wouldn't have Jill Perkins if if there wasn't something to like prove at some point.
I think through the process, like she was describing, we're talking about being good at the thing, right? This is our theme right now, okay? But being good at the thing you're not just magically like, I'm good at snowboarding. It's a series of very small steps. It's your daily getting better. You're doing things well on a small level, and then that eventually builds over time, and you do become good at snowboarding. And that is like a long process of kind of practicing excellence and self-discipline with yourself. And so when you whether it's conquering a trick, you did the necessary steps that it took and you followed through with it and you committed, then it translates to everything else in your life where you can be great at whatever. And so there is confidence in pushing through the uncomfortable times to surprise yourself that carries on in other aspects of your life, like you were describing.
Yeah, I think the self-discipline thing is probably the biggest, like if you're looking at a diagram, like probably the biggest heart in it. For me, I guess, is like if you have that, like that builds, like I worked, like I'm so far away from this goal, so I'm gonna chip. And all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, oh, I'm so much closer to my goal, or I achieved this goal. And then that is where the like healthy ego comes in, is like, look what I just did. And like that, like I did that. And like through the support and the hard work and the self-discipline, I can now do the next big thing. So it's cool.
That actually was something I wanted to ask that I'm curious about, like this drive and intensity and discipline that you've had towards snowboarding and skateboarding and these other things in your life. I mean, I guess mainly those two that people know about. I'm curious, where do you see that carrying over into other aspects of your life?
Also a good question. You know, I don't know. I feel like at the time right now it is scary, because going back to what we were talking about earlier, it was like, oh, the minute you say it, the minute it's done, you know? And so I try not to focus too hard on it. I remember like as a kid, always being like, people being like, well, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know? And I'm like, I don't know. But like, I know I remember just telling myself like, I don't know what that's going to be, but I want to be successful. Like, I don't know what it is, because I didn't know snowboarding at the time. I wasn't an avid snowboarder or anything. And I'm at a point now where it's like, I've been doing this for quite some time now, and it's been awesome. And I love it. I want to continue doing it and continue being involved and continue pushing myself. But the question does strike, like, okay, what is next? And it's funny because for years I was like, I had no idea. I was like, oh, TM. And then I was like, oh, TM seems gnarly. And, you know, like working with my team managers and like with brands myself, I just kind of realized I'm like, being an agent, like now knowing the landscape, I can like work really hard and like have my beliefs and like believe in this industry and like love this industry from a different aspect, where I'm helping other people fill those shoes and like, again, like leave this garden with more flowers than like, I don't know if that answers your question really.
So what you're telling us right now is that maybe one day down the road, you may consider being an agent in snowboarding as a life after boarding possible route.
That or a lawyer. I mean, I just want to do something that I believe in. And I think through my experience, the traumatic one that we were just talking about, like I was like, a lawyer would be sick, because it's like I can fight for the things that are correct and like morally appropriate. And also my middle school principal told me I should be a lawyer. I've never really dropped that one. But I think I've now known and seen people come and go in snowboarding, and especially with this new generation coming up, they have a lot of questions like, how do I do this? How do I make it work? And I think these resources are things that need to be talked about. And I think by becoming an agent or working with agents or understanding how that works and not have that be such a secret thing. Like you have to have a password to like get contracts. Like, I don't know. I just want to like help people be able to do the best they can do in the time that we get to do it, because it's not forever. So I think that like that drive and the intensity that I have brought to snowboarding, like I would love to see carry on, and I believe it will, because I think that's just who I am. And it's taken me a lot of years to accept the part of myself that is intense, because that word just has such like a nasty, in my head, like it's always been like a nasty word to me. Like intense is like scary or like hard to be around or something. And I guess now I'm just looking at it like, no, this is like, it's almost like powerful. Like you can use your intensity for good and like get things done. So hopefully work with people to do something for the greater good. Also, I think snowboarding is so small and it's beautiful and awesome and I love it and everybody I've met through it. But like the world's so big, and like if there's a way that we as snowboarders, we as people can like take what we've learned here and apply it to like bigger world problems, that would be like, I don't know, that to me is so interesting. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I hope to do something great.
Sounds like you got your criteria of what you're looking to be fulfilled at, which is kind of a good roadmap. So
I'll say.
Yeah, and I think that like that the word you said, intensity, has such a bad connotation, but to me, being a close friend of yours is like, I mean, one, I think the way to accomplish things, a big portion in addition to hard work and like being good, wanting to be good at the thing, is the relationships you have with people and like the connections that you make along the way, because it's the most important part of life. I personally think that's a fact. And like you have this intense, like staunch, I think that's the word, loyalty to your friends and to the people like in your circle. And I just like, I guess maybe what do you make of that? Why is that like something? It just seems to come so naturally to you. Like, for example, I was going through a hard time last summer. Something had happened to me, and I was living in California, and I called Jill, and I was like crying. I like had to get out of there, and she, no questions asked, no second thought, was like, "Yeah, I just booked a flight to Vegas. I'll meet you in Vegas. Just drive to Vegas. Just get to Vegas. I'll meet you there. I'll get us a hotel room, and I'll drive back home with you." It's like that. Just like you don't find people who get that so often, and it just seems to come so naturally to you.
Yeah, thank you. I love you, and I would do anything for you. I hope you know that. And I think, where did I get that? Are you asking me, or what?
Yeah, just if you have any thoughts about that, or like,
yeah,
it just
my dad, when I was a kid, he always said like, you can never like receive with a fist. The only way you can receive is like with an open hand. But to have an open hand, you need to like lend an open hand. And I think that like, even if he told me that when I was kicking in the walls, just trying to, I think I carry that throughout. I just think about that sometimes. There's like, yeah, you can't receive with a fist. And I want to be treated the way I want to be treated. And not, by no means am I an angel or do I do the right thing all the time. But when an opportunity, I don't know, I just think like all we have is love and nurturing, and like because we're in such a small thing, like snowboarding so small, like and the relationships are so important, and like caring is so important, and people so oftenly feel so alone. And so if you can be someone to like aid somebody through that, then and you have the capacity to do it yourself, like I don't know, I just like not like what comes around goes around is like such a whatever statement, but like I do believe like in karma and like and yeah, like love. Like I love my friends. I want to get to know my friends. I want to know how to support them and just like understanding. I don't know. That's a tricky one because it makes me talk about myself like weird.
What comes to mind is the saying, to have a friend, you have to be a friend.
Yeah.
And it's the same, like it's a symbiotic relationship. I think it's cool. And I think I kind of want to touch on what you're saying too, because we're deeply embedded in this snowboarding community. And at times it can be like, it's a fucking lot. We got to go see all these people we see all the time. And we bitch and moan about trivial things or whatever, But like, if you step outside of it, and, a lot of people that I grew up with, or, not everybody has what we have. I've had people tell me like, dude, what you guys got going on there in Salt Lake with all your friends is like a really special thing. And the snowboard community in general, the friendships that are formed and the relationships are really, I think they're really special. They can feel like a lot at times, but we got a pretty cool thing going with this snowboard community. I fucking love being a part of it personally. you know?
Yeah.
And I know that's a little more broad than what you're talking about, but it is small and it is important to nourish everything.
No, I think, what's so special is that we have this one thing that we all love with or without one another, honestly, but it's each other that makes it that much more special. And it is rare. It is rare that you find people that love the same things or have the amount of passion that we do around certain things. And so I guess for me is like, now that I've experienced that, like, I don't want to let it go. Like, and I want to like care for my friends and I want to be cared for, and it is a sense of like, it's fascinating to me when people in snowboarding, okay, going back to the basic thing where it was like, okay, I met Jules through snowboarding, but we relate on so many other levels that are probably more quote unquote basic or girly or whatever than like I do with like the boys or whatever. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I just find it fascinating that we all meet in the middle through snowboarding, but everybody is their own person. And we get the opportunity to learn so many different walks of life, but somehow ended up in the same area. And I guess I just like want to know more and and it's so special that like I want to be able to take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I can connect on that because you started snowboarding when you were like 17 or whatever. And like coming from, we talk about this a lot where we have friends who are like, we love them so dearly, but they're not on a molecular level at the same thing as us. And like my whole life, I just wanted girlfriends who like the same shit as me. And now it's like, we can go out, like we were talking about like partying in the beginning and be on the most fried shit ever. And then just like
too fried,
like go snowboarding together, go camping, go surfing, and also like gossip about like relationships, listen to Taylor Swift, watch Gossip Girl. Like it's just the duality of like that and the duality that you almost, I'm not gonna say need to possess as a female who like is a tomboy or likes action sports or whatever you want to call it. It used to be hard for me to accept, but it's like I fucking love it now.
Yeah. And that goes back to the confidence thing too, because before I started snowboarding and I, pretty normal upbringing or whatever, and I had girlfriends who I still love and talk to today. Like my best friends from high school, there's 3 of them, love them. But it's a different relationship for sure. And it is, I think I'm more confident even with them now because I have this group of people who have the commonality, like have the snowboarding thing, have all that, where it's like I've now been into a place where I can like be myself. Like I feel comfortable and confident, like being around my friends who I love and love me. And it's made me a better friends to my friends who do different things. And I think, we're lucky to like have that type of relationship. And I am also thankful for snowboarding and all of you in this room for like, we all share our stories and it's so cool to hear. I mean, even the bum hole, like I get to hear stories from people that I've maybe never met or maybe met once or twice and be like, I feel connected to this person because we share a liked interest and mindset. And I didn't know that about that person, but we also can be friends on that level. And so it's a great outlet.
It's honestly like just the last thing about this. It's like people will talk their petty gossip and whatever. And then it's like when someone goes through something and has a GoFundMe or something like that, everyone's donating or like starts a business, everyone's going and supporting that business. And like at the end of the day, it's just like people are down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. To tie it all together, I love the message of nurturing relationships. That's really good. And let's take it back down to a dipshit level here because we're getting into Run Through a Wall trivia.
Welcome to Run Through a Wall trivia.
You're fired.
Now, do you find yourself slowing down a little bit in your older age, maybe getting off hill a little earlier? Well, you could be dehydrated. 75% of Americans are dehydrated. And that goes up when you're at elevation, when you're in the mountains. So I drink Bubs Hydrate or Die hydration packets. There's 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes. There's no added sugar. There's no artificial flavors. And let me tell you, when I'm hydrated, I ride better. I can ride longer. I have more energy. All in all, my vitality is just better. So if you're interested in picking up some Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die, head on over to bubsnaturals.com and use promo code BOMBHOLE for 20% off your order. And stay hydrated, people, with Bubs Naturals Hydrate or Die. All right, let's take a quick break and talk about Yeti. They got a new cooler. It's called the Roadie 15, and it's perfect for all of your essentials. You can throw it on the front of an ATV, throw it on your paddleboard or a kayak. It's also really light. You can carry it down to your beach, or you can go fishing with it. Great cooler, weighs less than 10 pounds empty. There's also ample space to fit a 12-pack of standard cans with ice. So those bevs stay cold wherever your adventure takes you. They got all types of technology in this thing too. They got the new double-duty strap, which means you don't need to use your hands. You can throw it over your shoulder. They got good handles. They got the non-slip feet for the back of your truck. They got a drain plug if you want to hose the thing out if it gets nasty. They got tie-down slots. And the best thing about the Yetis is the permafrost insulation. So they're the best coolers. They keep those bevs ice cold on a hot summer day. Check out their website if you want to learn more about the Yeti Roadie 15. All right, we're going to get into Run Through a Wall trivia here, a staple of the show. Let me pull up these dog shit questions. They're not good.
I came up with these.
Well, we, okay. This is
right,
a
it was
group
we.
effort. If you don't get the question right, you have to do a smelling salt. And you have 5 seconds to answer each question.
Are these about snowboarding?
Do we have these for a reason?
You'll
do
find
we have
out.
To do
I
one?
don't know. Actually, maybe,
Like, is there any like?
I don't know. Let's just do one, Jules.
Big one. Oh,
I haven't done a big one in a while. I never do big ones. That one got me. Available at bombhole.com. Wow.
toss it in here.
First,
Let him feather it.
first question. Are you sharp? Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Wait, I don't get to hit this first. I just
If you get it wrong, you got to hit. You're sure to get one wrong.
okay.
What is Jules's go-to karaoke song?
It's Carrie Underwood Before He Cheats.
That's the correct answer. I have it written down right here.
Thank you.
That was a lobby or
Yeah.
whatever.
Who was Reed Smith's first board sponsor?
Ride.
The correct answer would be Rome Snowboards.
Oh yeah, but that's like a local rep. Does that count?
It does count. That's you got it wrong.
The word there is first. So
Yeah, first. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be doing it. Don't gaslight our answers here. Okay, what is Taylor Swift's most streamed song?
Oh, sorry, I just got another one. I get a what? I just got lost
have
in
a
this.
seizure?
No, I got lost in the sauce so hard that I just was sniffing over here.
Okay,
It's like it's been 5 seconds.
What
Yeah, I know,
is
yeah.
Taylor Swift's most streamed song? 5, 4,
Dude, I don't know. Most streamed? I don't know.
It's a hard
1.
one.
We need an answer.
Was it a new album? Give me an
5,
album.
4,
Okay,
3,
okay.
2, 1.
Yeah, it's 1989, I think.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's about
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I don't know. Pressure's on.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Blank
Jesus.
space.
Oh, well,
you wouldn't,
yeah.
you wouldn't see that.
Not a true fan. Okay.
I'm not checking her fucking charts.
Who won women's slopestyle in the Sochi Olympics?
Zoe. Oh, Sochi. Sorry, Jamie Anderson.
That's correct.
Sorry.
But it seems like you only
hit
said
another.
that because I was going for the buzzer.
No. I
Okay,
thought of
who
Sochi. I
is-
just, yeah.
Who is the bad guy or the bad character in Little Mermaid? 5.
Oh, Ursula.
4. That's correct.
Gosh.
Who was the first snowboarder to do a backside 270 to fakie on a handrail? 5, 4,
Jeremy Jones? I don't know.
3. Your teammate too. That's gonna
Wait, back to?
back 2 to fakie. Louis Parody.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, shit. I
On
should know more about
credibilities,
him.
that's actually pretty bad. That's bad for the
Well, I
team
just
building.
I thought we were I thought we were dating way back. Although,
True or false? Bodie Merrill once did a switch backside rodeo to front board 270 out. That's correct. That is correct. What company did Spencer Schubert ride for before he rode for Ride Snowboards?
CAPiTA.
That's correct. Name a rider in the VG Search Party video under the age of 13 that has a clip.
Bad Boy Noah.
That's correct. And that clip's kind of heat.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
That Bad Boy Noah clip.
Yeah,
dang.
the fence. I mean, he's so small, he wasn't going to fall over, but like that fence at the bottom was daringly close.
Okay. This is
killing this, by the way. I just want you guys to know.
These questions are
Take note.
They're going downhill fast.
Okay.
How much does a sumo suit cost to rent for a party?
Oh, it was $500 when I rented them for my party.
Okay, fair
Okay,
enough.
we googled it was 150, but
You got scammed.
Oh shit! They have booze.
AI overview told me it was
Damn,
150.
150. You wouldn't budget.
150 for the whole day. Although, yeah,
Damn, honestly, you might be right.
we like the premium ones at our parties.
so you just basically
You paid triple the
threw
price.
yourself under the bus because now
Full
she's
circle.
remembering what she paid. That's great.
Yeah, the
Okay.
sumo wrestling party was so epic. Until some girl blew her knee out. That was not epic. Poor girl.
Couple injuries. That's come with the territory, though.
Yeah.
Last question. What are Chihuahuas named after? 5.
Is that how you say that word?
Yeah,
you
I'm doing
personally?
like Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua? Is that how you say it? Anyone else say Chihuahua?
It's technically spelled
Crazy.
Chihuahua is how it's really spelled, if I was to say it phonetically.
Dude, I want to.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, it's Chihuahua.
It's Chihuahua.
How do you
Try
say
it again. Try it again,
Chihuahua.
Chris.
You
No, he says Chihuahua.
And you
Right?
say-
Silk, back
No,
up.
I say Chihuahua.
It's Chihuahua, by the way.
Okay.
I think. Well, I also.
So where
It's
did
all
they get their
starting to
name?
sound the same
Where did they
now.
get their name? 5, 4.
honestly, a hot sauce, but
3.
it isn't true. But like for some reason, I'm just resignating
I would eat that hot sauce. Yeah.
Chihuahuas with hot sauce. All right.
It's from Chihuahua, Mexico. It's a town.
It's a town in Mexico.
Okay, well,
It's a
my
town.
roommate's from there. I got
is it called? How
skin
do you
in that
pronounce
game.
the town?
Chihuahua? It's Chihuahua. There's no questions about the
Chihuahua.
pronunciation of Chihuahua.
You guys are missing the phonetics on it.
That was a fried question. You guys did come up with that.
That I texted him that. I was like, you got to get this.
Yeah,
Is that
was
when
the
you were
buzzer beater.
sketchily texting when I walked
Yes,
in?
it was. It was
Weird.
I
We
think
had
we
to
know
squeak
whose
that one in.
questions were better.
Yep.
All right, I think I was
The answer would be
50-50.
mine. I don't know. Silk maybe kept score, maybe didn't. It seemed like you got a few wrong.
I got two
She
left.
got them all right in my book.
Thank you, Silk. See,
It's a ride or die.
Yeah,
the girls.
You did pretty good.
The girls.
You did pretty good. Oh, what else do you want to talk about, Joe? We could talk about what about the roundup? That was pretty fun.
oh, the roundup was fun. Yeah.
Why mini pipe event?
I just really like the mini pipe. I think it's so fun, and they're not around as much as I would like to see them. And it's inviting. Like anybody can do it. You don't have to be good, but you can also be good at it. And it keeps it all tight. Like it's all there. And I love the camaraderie of that.
Except for when people are lapping. I have something to say.
that's poor sportsmanship.
Anybody that was at that event that was lapping was blowing it.
Yeah.
It's like the hiking is and the one hits are that's the juice.
Yeah, that's why I love it, honestly. I think when I was a camper at camp, and Bodie had one of his last ones
Merrill
up there.
mini pipe invitation.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I just like loved the vibe. Like I just fell in love with that, and I associate it with like spring riding, and it's just like good vibes.
Yeah, I
all
would
the
like to
time.
talk about the fact that it was indeed Western themed and
yeah.
not a single other person was wearing a cowboy hat besides me. Maybe Sam. No, Sam wasn't even wearing his OG.
I know. No, I think people were scared to dress up. Well, they were also performing. Like we were sitting at the bottom of the pipe. Like,
yeah, you can't wear a little cowboy hat when you're
I will say Stan was being pretty fucking funny on the mic. He
was-
was making me laugh.
Stan-
He was
funny.
funny. He was funny. No, I just like loved it. And I also just love the idea of events. And I think, I will say that is one thing that we were lacking and people spoke up about it. And now there's so many events where I'm like, no more events. But like I do want them. I love them. They're my favorite part, especially spring events. So it's cool. And I think if we keep like any excuse to get people together is like a pretty cool one,
Well, it feels like a good time to plug Bombhole Beatdown January 4th.
That's true.
Bombhole
Yeah,
Cup April
See,
4th.
Bombhole
See
Beatdown
you
isn't
there.
inviting. I was just talking about inviting camaraderie.
Well, they
We're
can't
gonna-
all
Get
be
your
invited.
ass
They
kicked at the
can't all be
Bombhole
invited.
Beatdown.
Silk came up with it. Bombhole
Yeah.
beatdown.
No, it's really good. It's on brand.
Let me give you paint the picture real quick. I'm going to hijack this podcast. We got a rail jam going on, and then after the event, right after, Mikey LeBlanc, Harry Hagen, and Mike Rav are in a band. I like to call them Harry and the Ravs. Their name is actually Portable Window, but
Harry
I think
and the Mics?
Harry and the Mics. I mean, Harry and the Mics.
I didn't even know it had a name. I thought it was Harry and the Mics.
Yeah, Portable Window is what they like to be referred to as. They're playing a show after, so you got live music from your favorite snowboarders. Come for the music or come to watch the steel get beat down.
You also do a
all
really good
ability
job
levels,
on
all
the
ability
mic.
levels.
You do a good job at the mic. I enjoy that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We talked about gout a lot last time we were on the mic at Palm
was
World
good.
Cup. But anyway, we'll keep it moving. Okay, what else? You know what I noticed? Like when I look at your board, this one. Let's see how many stickers we got. We got Skull Candy, seems new from our last episode.
Can you see 'em all?
Rockstar, Stance, Dakine, Electric, Sunbum. Is the Sunbum Gorilla on there? Yep.
Sure is.
Yep.
Sure
Ride,
is. Yeah.
Vans. Seems like things are going well in that department.
Yeah. It's been whoa, real close. Things are going well. I don't know what you want me to say about that,
She's
but
getting the bag.
I love
that's-
no, it's not that. I
The lawn would
That's
suggest.
what you know. You know what? People that are getting the bag, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what
not
they say.
that.
People who aren't getting the bag are like, yeah, I need the bag.
No, I am so thankful for all of my sponsors. They are so sweet to me, and I really love it.
Well said, partner.
No, it's cool. No, it's you know what the best part about it is, like every sticker on that like represents like a family of some sorts, and just like different memories with different groups of people, but somehow again bring it all back together. It's like they're just here for everyone's here for, I don't know. I like to think. Well, you know what? Just side note, that's my favorite sticker actually.
Western
the top
Authority?
one. You left that one out. Non-paying sponsor, but good.
What's up with walk us through that one?
Oh, it's a vintage sponsor sticker actually. I just like liked
Oh,
it.
it's like vintage.
No, it's a okay. who allowed her in here today?
I'm just kidding. I like it too. Vintage sponsor, yeah. Instagram.
You give me the floor and then you shit on me, and I don't appreciate that.
No, you love it.
Yeah, no, the catalog's looking good. They're awesome and like fun projects and ideas and stuff like that. So
I get a question. So the board, you and Reed both ride an asymmetrical, also gender neutral. I don't know what the hell you call it, but it's board for everyone.
yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great thing. A couple years ago, we just decided, I mean, I'm clocking in at like 5'10", 6 foot in snowboard boots, you know, and I couldn't ride a girl's board really, or the boards that they made for women were ultimately softer and smaller. And so I've always like, and I have a men's.
And narrower.
Yeah, narrower. I have a men's 9 foot for the viewers and listeners. It's pretty big.
Is that a women's?
Women's 11, but it
Sample size.
stings a little less when you say men's 9. You know, women's 11, people are like, whoa.
She's a model. It's
So
fine.
no, it's
model
not.
body.
It's not that. I have to crack my back really quick.
Hit it.
Sorry, old. Yeah, so we just decided that like we needed to like take off. It's gender neutral, like could be for everybody, and I just think that's like a more appropriate way to go.
So you think it's good for brands to not make like women's graphics be girly and whatnot?
No, I think that there's like room for that on some of them. Like some girls want a girly board, and that's totally okay as well. But like for me, yeah, Jules over there is like 2 up. I want a woman's board.
Glitter board, yeah.
Yeah. But I think for me personally, it's just like I want to ride something that I resonate with and like I feel good on, and that's going to support me flying through the air and or down a stair set, not really there, but. And so it just kind of like made sense. And it was like no backlash on that. They kind of were like, oh, I understand. And I think with the level of women's riding, I mean, people have been good at snowboarding. Women have been good at snowboarding for a very long time. But with the amount of people and the different types of riding they're doing now, and just everyone's becoming a little bit more powerful, I think it's a perfect time for the manufacturers or the, what are they called? The people that go to school, engineers. They like take into consideration like what we're actually doing on a snowboard. Because I think now that we have more eyes and more women doing it, it's like, okay, we need to make these, like we need to make them last.
Yeah, we could probably change gears. One thing we just did is we went to that Rockstar Open. I don't know if Sam brought it up when he was in there or not, but Sam was there. He was doing great. We watched some skateboarders fly around, Grayson Fletcher, and it freaking was amazing. Seems like a good crew over there, like good team vibe.
Wait, you
Team
don't know if
camaraderie.
Sam brought it up? That was his whole question.
I don't know. Do you know how much banter goes through this hollow head? Just
I just,
in one ear, out
I just
the
had
other.
to call you out on
I
it.
thought we were just talking about his floor. I also don't remember.
Yeah.
No, I do. We did talk about it. Nope, sorry, Jules, we did.
Okay, anyways, keep going.
The event was great. I mean, Rockstar, being a part of Rockstar has been like amazing and so fun, and what they want to do and what they want to see happen within the space is just genuine and core, and like getting it back to some grassroots situations. And And I like that. Like I align with that. I'm so down. And so like to go to a summer skate event, it was really cool to like see the like first installment of them doing that. And it was exactly what they said they wanted. And it was like fun. It was cool, like ripping people, good vibe. And just like they align, like they're open to doing things to keep it going in the right direction. And I like that.
Absolutely. I heard from Reed, you guys are maybe doing a Rockstar web series or something like that?
Yeah, hopefully. It's not approved yet.
Allegedly.
But hopefully by November 6th when this comes out, it is approved and we're working on it. But yeah, I think, I think with the webisode thing, we've been filming parts for a few years now. And as much as I love it, and I do, and right now I'm like, shit, maybe a video part does sound nice, just like go through that pain again. But I think, again, going back to things being like snowboarding so small, I think the webisode or like the vlog thing, I think Billy Anderson said it really well where he was like, there's a space on YouTube where it's being saturated by people who aren't the people in the core snowboarding space. And so there's this weird space right now where people in the core space can almost take that over and get involved and show snowboarding and how we actually snowboard rather than like a trick tip video to a broader spectrum of people. And Reed kind of came to me with this idea, and I was coming off injury and everything. I was like, that sounds so nice to just like go and travel and be with my friends and like just actually show people what we do. And some people are like, oh, that's like a day in the life, and it in a sorts maybe, but like more so, it's just like less snow porny, more like getting to know the riders. I guess here's what I really think. I've been in snowboarding now for a while, and since I got into it, like when I first got into it, Mike Rav I was like, oh, Mike Rav is the sickest, and Mike Rav is still in it, which thank goodness. Like it's not that I want him to go anywhere, but like, what about Mike Rav keeps him in it, and like what makes Mike Rav, like other than his snowboarding, other than his like physical tricks, what does Mike Rav eat for breakfast? Does he, how often does, that's maybe not the appropriate question, but I was gonna say, how often does Mike Rav shower? But just like wanting to know more about the people, like there's people that we idolize or that I idolize, whether they're like singers or I don't know, artists or anything like that, where I'm like, they seem really cool. I just want to know more about them. And I think snowboarding, we have the space for that. And I think that'd be cool and interesting.
That's like why I got into, not why I got into snowboarding, why I fell in love with it. It was like the Friends crew videos. And it was just like their little crew of homies having so much fun. And that just seems so obvious to me. And I guess I'm probably not quite as like tapped in, like I'm not like out here watching all the videos, but like people amongst the core aren't really doing webisodes, are they?
Well, it's not new. Like, this isn't us reinventing
But like
the
right
wheel.
now, like recently.
We had this thing a few years ago. You want to say something, Chris?
No, go ahead.
We had this thing a few years ago where everyone did like a mid-season release multi thing. We had like snooze, we had frontside, backside. We had like Brandon Davis had his over yonder thing. Like we had this thing where we almost like lost video parts or we lost team movies. That's what it really was, where it was like all these webisodes were coming out and people were like, we miss team movies. And then boom, like every team is like, we're making a movie. I'm making a movie. We're doing this, which has been awesome and so cool. It's so cool to see these snowboard brands get their teams back together and be like, this is what makes us us and this is our team. And I still enjoy those and I still enjoy the video parts and I'm not done filming the video parts. It's just a way where in my eyes, I just want to gravitate or like allow people to gravitate towards the sport rather than just viewing it as like this like trick-based thing. Because we see so many tricks on Instagram and other social media platforms, like I personally am nearly immune to it. Like I just like, it doesn't do it for me anymore. And what does is like being like, oh, Jules is the GM at Bombhole, but she also like sews. She's a sewer and she like makes these like beautiful pieces. Like that to me is interesting because like we've shown the viewer like our skills and like what we can do. But like now I just like, I want to show the viewers like who I am and who Reed is and who Cody is. And I would just want to learn more about people. I think it's like so fascinating.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's like anyone that I look up to, it's like, well, yeah, you can like love and respect the art and the craft, but it's like, you kind of want to feel like you can hang out with them and they could like be your
100%.
friend. Like that's what draws people in and makes you like really have some sort of fandom or something around the person.
Like Nora V is a great example. Nora
Yeah.
Vasconcelos is a great example of that. Like her skating speaks for herself, but she does, and she has always done such a good job at like being a personality. And I feel like there's room for that in like snowboard videos, but like Meyer does a great job with the videograph stuff. And like you can see personality, but it's also like almost like curated personality. I mean, Chris, you've been like a huge personality throughout your career and like you continue to still be. And like I know that's probably something that you like, I mean, I don't know if you love about yourself, but like how do you feel about that? Like being the personality is being seen, like
I mean, I think it's what you grow up on and the people that you identify with. For me, when I was a kid, I identified with characters, and then I just let that come out myself and displayed that. And shit, if I could do like a run that was like 16 to 18 to 1260 and didn't, but like sometimes if you can't entertain them with your tricks, you entertain them with other stuff. And you just, and I think we're in the entertainment business. And so keeping, the audience entertained, we want to know characters like that. We want to know who to cheer for. It's not just a robot doing tricks.
Yep.
We want to know who to cheer for. And I think it's really wise of you to do that. And if it doesn't work, it's like, the one thing is there's like, everybody's like, protect the video part, which is like, it's protected. It's not going anywhere. People are still filming videos. People are still filming incredible stuff. Search Party's a great video. There's so many videos that come out, but why not diversify or try something different or, try a different formula? It's all about reinventing to stay fresh. It seems like for you filmed a lot of video parts. It's probably exciting to try something different.
Yeah. By no means am I like anti-video part. Like I said, I love the video part and I want that to stand the test of time and like still be there. But yeah, I think taking a break is so necessary and just like getting back to, I think throughout the intensity of where snowboarding is right now, where it's like there's hundreds of videos all the time. It's like, okay, but why do we do this? And I guess what I'm looking to find through doing this type of project would to reconnect with like why I love doing this and appreciate the travel aspect of it and appreciate my surroundings. Because so many times like we go to these places and I'm like, oh, it looks like the place I flew to 2 weeks ago, but I'm in a totally different country, but all I see is just like great days and snow on the ground, Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, all this talk about video parts, it's a good time for what, Silk?
I think it might be time for Name That Video Part.
I didn't think we were gonna have to run this back twice. I thought, the first one was bad enough. They're not gonna embarrass me again.
All this talk about video parts, let's see if you're really
about it.
if you're really married to the game or
I'm bowing out is what I'm
I think
doing.
she knows she's not a student of the game. Is what
No,
you're
I'm
saying?
not. I'm not.
0 through 10 confidence. Last time it was a 0 for the record.
Okay, well, you know what? 10. I'm a 10. I'm so confident.
Manifest that shit.
All right, here we go.
Oh, Cole. Is it Cole?
Close. It's a Vans Evergreen.
Is it Kennedy? It's just Evergreen, right?
It's Evergreen. It is Evergreen.
Yeah, but Evergreen's like there's like parts, but there's not
it's
like
kind of a part.
Sam?
Yes.
Okay, like
I think it's like Sam and Rav. It's kind of a dual part.
yeah, that's what I knew, but that's Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Yeah, you knew it. I'm gonna say she knew it, kind of.
I think we
I think
found
Cole's
Cole's
uses.
draws.
I think Cole's uses Smashing Pumpkin song too. So I heard Smashing Pumpkins, and my logic's there, and
I
they're
love
probably
the
going to be like,
justification. Give her
Thank
the
you.
name of that video
Logic's
part.
there. Yeah, we got something
Employee
for you.
appreciation, or it's kind of a participation award.
"Thank you."
I don't know if you've outright won it. Jules, did you win it?
No.
What?
She was guessing. You told her Evergreen.
Oh, I'm
She
so
was
excited.
guessing
I
everyone
was-
in Evergreen.
She literally just blurted out the first thing that came in her head. She didn't think. I think if you
No, I'm
took a
just kidding.
second,
She
you
won.
could have got it. You could have got it.
The label maker.
The label maker is something to take note of. Thank you.
Yep.
This will not be
Very
getting stolen.
official.
All my water bottles get stolen at my house. No, thank you for my gifts. I can't wait. I was just telling Jules I wanted a new pair of sweatpants, and I see a pair in here.
Nice.
Nice.
Is there another camo hat in there?
Oh, do you know I gave mine away to Haley?
Yep, I saw her wearing it at Copenhagen Open.
Oh, Oh,
There's
you
not.
give it to her.
There's not. There's one right there, though.
Yeah, take the one
Yeah,
behind
you're
you.
gonna need that.
Oh, we'll get one from this back stock.
You got to talk to Jules though. She's the one that controls. You got to talk to the boss.
No,
I
we
know,
need you in one of those hats.
No, I love that hat, but Haley really loved it. And
I know, I
she was like,
DM'd her and she was
really
like,
want this
it's-
hat. And I was like, you should just take mine.
She was like, it's the perfect hat. Buy now.
Hat off my head.
FOMO.com/shop.
Yeah. No, she's the shit. Haley's the shit.
Haley is the shit.
Yeah.
All right, before we keep this banter going, part 2, name that video parts for the listeners. If you know the song, comment on the photo of Jill on Instagram. That's where we pick our winner. Rider and video part and video. Here we go. Okay, thank you guys for playing. Name that video part. I'm not going to say you did great, Jill, but you did okay.
It's okay. I know I didn't do great. I would hate it more if you lied to me.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and talk to you about Herschel Supply Company. Now, Herschel makes some of the sickest bags I've ever seen. Me and Chris were going on a little bomb hole trip a while ago, and Herschel sent us a couple bags to make the travels easier, and they worked. All the stuff fit great. They were the perfect size. They looked so sick. You should have seen everybody in the airport. We were getting side-eyed because the bags just look so good. When I went on the website to check them out, they have an insane amount of colorways. They don't just make bags. They do laptop cases. They do backpacks. They do roller size bags. They do carry-on size, duffel bag, big duffel bag. They got every size you need for any situation you're going to find yourself in if you need to move some stuff around. So if you got some items and you need to put them in a bag, put them in a Herschel bag. It's simple. All right, we're going to take a quick break with a message from our good friends over at Mammoth Mountain. Opening day right around the corner, Friday, November 15th. Mark your calendars. It's coming up quick. In exciting news, there's big changes coming to the Unbound Terrain Park, specifically Main Park. It's going to have a brand new layout. You've never seen it like this before. It's going to be spicy. You're going to want to check it out. They got more jumps, new features, and over a dozen new jibs. Also, there's been a bit of a rumor going around that Mammoth is bringing back the hemlocks. If you don't know what that is, it's on the backside of the mountain. You're going to have to unstrap a little bit, but trust me, it's going to be worth it. Picture this, a freestyle big mountain paradise with a little bit of help from park crew. If you're interested, snag some pre-season savings before November 18th and save up to 52% on tickets and lodging deals. That's more than half. For more information, head over to mammothmountain.com. Are you struggling to hit your protein goals? Well, I'm not. Not anymore. Not after our good friends over at Kodiak Cakes came to help us out a little bit. Now they're making some of the best bars, some of the best oatmeal, some of the best power cakes, oatmeal packets you've ever had to help you get your morning started off right. Jam-packed, full of protein, up to 20 grams of protein in one of these little things. That is an incredible way to get your morning started. Crafted with 100% whole grains, they're going to keep you feeling fuller for longer. Find them at your local grocery store. Just look for the bear on the package. You can't miss them. Or head on over to kodiakcakes.com and get your day started correctly.
Okay, we're going to get into a guest question from none other than Reed Smith. Here we go.
What up, Jill? What up, Bombhole? Reed here. Hope you guys are having fun. Something that I thought of that I think you're really good at, that maybe some people struggle with, is you're really, really good at getting the job done, but also know how to enjoy the place you're in and live in the present a bit. Was wondering if you had any tips on that and your process, if you get a couple things you're hyped on before you are going out to a big dinner with the squad and maybe hopping in a sauna on the ocean in Oslo or something along those lines. Again, miss you guys. Have fun. Adios.
He's a man.
Yeah, he's a king amongst
He
men.
is a king amongst men. The process, that's always a good one. That's always a good one. Getting things done. I mean, I don't know. I think being a part of being fulfilled, you know, like I guess I don't feel fulfilled unless I'm getting things done. But I also do believe in the beauty of like surroundings and who you're with and trying to take it all in. But it's hard for sure. I don't really. Did you guys hear a question in there?
I think if I was to like help this question along a little bit, I think what he was getting at is that a lot of snowboarders go on a trip and they only think about the snowboard trick. I'm very guilty of this. You go there and you're like, I'm going to take me, you're in fucking Lithuania and all you care about is where's the kink rail and you don't even realize that you're in this beautiful country or you're in a different culture. And I think what he was getting at is getting tricks in addition to enjoying the culture that you're in while traveling and filming.
I think it's so crucial to do that. And it's not always easy because it is a lot of work and a lot of grinding majority of the time. So to find the time to go out and do things is really nice. But yeah, like we were just in Oslo and we just like made it a point where like we're in this city, we're like on the water, like let's go to a sauna on the water and enjoy it. And it was like amazing. And we got to go there. And I think what I really like to do is amongst seeing places or like historical monuments in these places, like talk to people that live there. And it just like curated an environment where we were like sitting, sweating on the water in this beautiful like city and local people in there. And you're just like talking to them and like you find out what they do, they find out what you do. And like, I don't know, it just, to me, that's the stuff that I carry with me is like the people I meet along the way. And like, yes, that was like a beautiful thing, but those experiences, like, that's why we do this. Like the trick's so great, but I know that I'm going to look back and just like think about the years that I spent with Reed and like the places we've been together. And it's not like, I remember when Reed did this trick. I remember things that are like experiences that I have with my friends. And that's like what keeps the drive going, I think. That's like definitely a part of it.
Yeah. That's actually such an interesting thing, looking back on trips, exactly like you said. You're like, I couldn't tell you a single trick or I could tell you all the tricks, but what actually comes to mind is the taking the time to go, like we went in Finland and swam in an ice lake and then went in a sauna and we took a half day out of filming to do that. But it's like the first thing that comes to mind.
Yes.
It's like, so having the realization that, hey, let's enjoy this trip and not just be people doing tricks as well.
It's interesting because I agree. As I was saying that, I was like then thinking about the tricks, but what led me there was my mind connecting like a good memory or a bad memory, whatever it was, but like mostly good. Like, oh, this one day, like this was so funny. And then it was like, oh, that was the day that Reed did this, you know, or I did this. And I think, yeah, I don't know, those little things, like those are just like, they're beautiful memories and they're so cool. And we're so lucky to get them. Like I'm so lucky to like fly to Helsinki on a Tuesday with 1 day's notice. It's pretty, amazing.
It's a good life. It's a good life. All right, let's get into some hard hitting. Let's go hard hitting. Mm-hmm. You know, we got this very talented person here, Jill Perkins, who's accomplished a lot of great things in life and on her snowboard. What do you think the key ingredients have been to you and becoming great as a person that rides a snowboard?
Friendship, I think ultimately is a major, major one. And yeah, I don't know, friendship and hard work, but I would definitely say like surround yourself with the people that make you laugh. And all of a sudden progression's like way more digestible.
Cool.
I was just going to say, like, along the lines of the friendship thing, I wonder if for you, like, do you feel like the fact that you surround yourself with people who aren't just snowboarders has any sort of, like, effect on that? Because to me, I love being around my snowboarding friends, and, like, it's an industry I work in, and it's, like, all the friends, but date people in this industry, but, like, I don't know, sometimes when there's just people who are just, like, your friend and, like, snowboarding's completely just taken out of it, it's like there's like that you just love each other because you love each other.
100%. And I think I've had times where I look around and all my friends are snowboarders, and I remember a distinct point in my life where I was like, I need to make friends outside of snowboarding because it is a balance and it's so refreshing to not. I mean, we do this day in and day out. Like, I love going to dinner or cooking dinner or something and not talking about snowboarding at all. Like, it's, you know, business and pleasure, and like my business is my pleasure, but also like I need to have a place where there's just no business. And I think having friends who love you, honestly, like for not being a good snowboarder is like, that is also so fulfilling. Like having people care for you because you're a person, not because you're a person who snowboards okay, you know?
Yeah, it just seems like you can come to the snowboarding thing with so much more safety and confidence because you're like, all right, if I fucking suck at this and all these people hypothetically wouldn't like me anymore, I still got the safety pack in the back. Like, it's all good.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, I wouldn't say it's like, I don't know how much that ties into it, but I will say like having an escape from snowboarding, like having those other friends is more beneficial to the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like it's not me thinking like, oh, if this all fails, at least I have these guys. Like it's more so like they aid me in becoming more, you know, patient and successful in my snowboarding because I have a release to like not have to go through it all the time. You know? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, let's get into hot takes. Staple of the show. First question: greatest of all time, male and female. Who you got?
I think current GOAT, Emma Crosby, but Zoe Sadowski's so goated too, also. And then as far as the males go, I mean, I still think Louis is goated. I'm pretty sure I probably said him on the first one. But also like people doing bigger, like Tanner McCarty's just like, not to bring him up again, but in the game, he's so goated.
I like that. We're gonna skip art or sport because that question sucks. Most underrated. Who you got?
I think Steffi Luxon is very underrated and underappreciated because she just like is so fucking good and just has a good attitude and brings so much joy where it's just like you can't make that up. And then as far as a guy, I agree with Jerome when he said Ben Bullock for sure.
Steel or powder?
Oh, I like them both. Powder. I'm just gonna change it from last year.
Unfortunate when people get that one wrong. Who's got your favorite style?
Female, Emma Crosby has great style, and male, Tommy Gesme.
Favorite method?
I think Ben Ferg.
Favorite video ever made?
Oh, Search Party by Videograss. No, just kidding. That was just a quick plug. I don't have one. I like them all. Sorry.
Media trained answer right there. Okay, favorite board graphic ever made? I'm going to go back to favorite video. Like, I always think nostalgic. Did you have one that you were like, oh, I love this. I'm 5.
Okay. Back to the video. Like, the Peep Show videos I really liked. And again, not to take this question onto a rant, but I'm still playing catch up. Like I didn't grow up with it, so I don't have one where I'm like, oh, when I was a kid, I used to watch this one and it like really got me juiced. I didn't really have that. But lately, like we'll just like watch some Peep Show videos like before Powder Day because I like Powder now. And I'll get so hyped on like just like knowing these people and like how far they've come and like where they're at now and watching them rip. So I'm like, that to me is something special. So I like those.
Glad we got an answer there.
Thank you.
Favorite board graphic ever made?
The one that's coming to my head, and it's definitely not my favorite, but for some reason I liked it, was like the Camp Vibes ride one. But it just like sticks out for me for some reason. I think because I didn't like it at all, but I wrote it and I liked it.
Totally.
Okay. If you could go heliboarding with 3 people, just good times, who are you throwing in the heli?
Ooh, I would probably bring Reed Smith. I would definitely bring Reed. I would.
Almost 2 more seats.
Yep, 2 more seats. I know.
I want to let you know Kevin Backstrom brought Charlie Sheen. Just going to throw that out there.
Oh, shit.
It's a crazy
And
take.
Young Dolly brought Mike Tyson, I believe.
I don't know. You're expanding. Okay, Reed's out. Reed's out.
Kevin comes out after this. That's funny.
Ooh, I don't know. Taylor Swift for
There you
sure.
go. There, now we're getting somewhere.
Nothing like teaching somebody how to snowboard on a heli pow trip.
She's got people for that.
She's got people.
You got Billy? No?
For sure. I just didn't want to say her name in case she was like watching or something. But yeah, Billie Eilish totally, and Reed can come.
Oh, that
Taylor
would-
Swift, Billie Eilish, and Reed Smith.
No, Katie, honestly, disclaimer, Katie would probably kill me if I didn't take her. So
I mean, it's me, Katie, and Steffi.
Oh, shit.
They could probably like long line you guys beneath
I'll
off of a
strap
rope
you.
or something.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got on here?
I flunked those.
Dream sponsor. Any sponsor in the world doesn't have to be in the snowboard.
Yeah, we were just talking about this the other day. I think either a grocery store, not Smith's, because I think Smith's is disgusting. And yeah, Smith's is disgusting. It smells like warm bacon if you go in there. Anyway, sorry. So sad.
Bit of an elitist take, but okay.
Fuck.
Not cooled bacon, not to be confused with the scent of cold bacon. Just clear that one up.
Home Depot. You know, someone said Home Depot, and I was like, "Yep, that would probably be
Maybe
it, Home
Spencer.
Depot.
Yeah, it's classic. That's a classic answer. Okay, worst trend.
I'm basic again.
Worst trend. What do you got?
Oh, bad attitude. Bad attitude's such a bad trend. It's like, yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
You want to elaborate on that, or just kind of leave it there?
Well, I mean, again, there's times that I have a bad attitude as well, but I'm not proud of that, and it's a bad trend when I have it, and I just think it's just a very bad look, and it's like
Good self-awareness.
it's self-awareness, and I just think if you're not bringing the person with a bad attitude on a heli trip.
Or they're getting long lined. They're not in the heli.
No.
They're maybe getting dragged.
Long
behind.
line's a new term for you.
I learned it on the Jeremy Jones podcast. That's when they hook you up, and
yeah.
he had to
Gonna
get
have to
long
hear that
lined into a. We'll be beating that to death. Okay, let's move on to setups here. What board are you riding specifically? The board, the bindings, how you set it up, the tech nerd stuff. Let us know.
Okay, yeah, I ride the Ride Zero. It is a gender neutral snowboard. It is.
155.
I should be riding a 155. You know, I'm starting to, but 151 up until last year. But yeah, it's a asymmetrical twin.
That board literally says 155 on it.
Oh, I guess I did ride a 155. That's so weird. All right, 155. I'm not picky. I'll take what I can get.
What bindings are you rocking?
The A6s.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got angles. We know anglers. Is that just kind of
No, we know.
Jesus take the wheel situation?
You know what? No, I rely on the reference point. Well, I don't reference point minus one slot. Move the binding down one slot, and then I think it's like 6 and -3, 6 to 12, -3 to 9. So just I kind of play with it.
Just tech savvy, but tech savvy.
Not
as
an
it gets.
engineer. That thing you have to go to school for.
Walking through the factory, just kind of testing all the flexes. We waxing that thing? We dulling the edges? What else?
We're waxing for sure.
What's up? All right, I'm actually. You know what? I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to answer this, but what's going on with the? It looks like a cap, but it's kind of a sidewall situation. It's like a rebirth of the cap on that board.
No, it is a capped edge. They wanted to bring it back for more of a retro look, but I think it performs. I don't know. Now I'm not. You know what? The greatest thing about this board is that you can ride however you want to ride on this board. So if you just want to go out there and have a good time, you ride this board. If you want to die, you ride this board.
You can do anything on that.
You can do anything on a ride.
Okay. All right, so that settles that.
No intelligence whatsoever.
No, it's good. I love. There's so many tech nerds that just like love all the specs, and like we're just like I don't know, just put bindings on it.
It's a vessel. It's kind of like I think I just like to snowboard and I like that board. I don't know. That's kind of it. Pretty simple. Pretty basic. Pretty
Buy
simple.
that one. Don't ask questions.
Yeah, it'll do you good.
She'll do you good.
All right, this thing's starting to derail, which I love. So we got a couple of questions left, but any advice for the young snowboarders out there that are trying to be the next Jill Perkins? Any wise words?
Yeah. No, I think, I don't know, if you love something, stick with it and believe in yourself. Truly, just, I don't know. All I know is I found snowboarding and I fell in love with it, and it's kind of been like my North Star in so many ways. And I think if you have something in your life, that's that, whether it's snowboarding or something else, just believing in that and yourself, I think you can surprise yourself.
Well said. That's freaking beautiful. All right, last couple questions. Any thank yous, and what's next for Jill Perkins?
Yes, thank you to you all for hosting me. This has been awesome. Thank you for having me back. Thank you to everybody who has supported me through this journey, you know, behind closed doors and not. All my sponsors that have been so epic and have gotten me to really cool places and given me a platform to like meet all these really cool people. Has been awesome. Thank you to my parents for giving birth to me and my friends that keep me going.
Well said. Okay, and lastly, what's next for Jill? What do we got coming down the pipeline?
I mean, hopefully this webisode thing. I want that to be cool and a good taste. I want to maybe get more into building things. I like doing that. I don't know, just like try to progress as a person and like tastefully and do good things, I guess.
Perfect. That's it. Jules, it's been a pleasure.
It's been great, guys.
You did great.
Thank you so much.
It's kind of a natural.
Well, when Jill's in the room, I can do anything.
Thank you. See, believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Jill, that was fantastic. Thanks for sharing all that.
No,
for
thank you
round
guys.
2.
Seriously, there was a lot of really important things in there that, again, to the listeners, I'm sorry if it was a bit of a ramble fest, but I do hold this space really close to me and my peers, and we need to protect it and give back what we've gotten out of it. And I think all together we can do it.
Whew. All right. That's been a great show. Silk, thank you for everything.
Thank you,
It's
Silk.
been a pleasure.
Everybody that listens, all of our Patreon members, all of our sponsors, we couldn't do this without you. And you know, I'm thinking, Jules, why don't you do the sign off for this episode?
The thing about the sign off, Chris, is I don't actually listen to the bomb hole, so I don't know how to do it. But I do love Silk's ring light. It's cracking me up.
Thank you.
Over and out. Is that what it is? Over and out from the bomb hole.
Great
that was
show.
good.